So that being said, I know this, a lot of times you hear people say this and it kind of can be cliche. 34-point margin, but the final, that's not indicative of how competitive this game was. I understand how it may sound saying that, but this was a hard fought competitive game. It was 27-13 at the start of the fourth quarter when Pilot Point had the ball driving to try to cut it within one score. And we're going to highlight some of the things that happened around that time, but that's kind of when the wheels fell off for the Bearcats. But before we do that, we're going to do the stats for both teams. So team stats, Pilot Point 166 yards rushing, 166 yards passing, 125 yards rushing for a team total of 291 yards. Brock had 159 yards through the air, a big total of 439 yards on the ground for a team total offense of 597. Individual stat leaders, Wyatt Smith, 18 of 36, 166 yards and a touchdown. He did throw the interception in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter, I think to begin the fourth quarter. Ish Harris, 20 carries for 109 yards and a touchdown. And then Aiden Cox was the leading receiver. His streak of 100-yard consecutive games ends. He had 6 catches for 45 yards. Ish Harris was right behind him with 41 yards. For Brock, Tyler Moody, quarterback, 10 of 18 for 159 yards and a touchdown. Cutter Wilson, this number jumped out at me and shocked me because I didn't feel like he was this dominant. He had a few big runs that helped pile up the total yardage. But 26 carries, 341 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, doesn't matter how he got it. That's a lot of yards, and he earned them. And then the Minnesota commit, Nate Jones, leading receiver, 5 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown. So we're going to do a segment here that's a little different than what we've done this year. For those of you who are fans of Sports Radio 1310 or 96.7 FM, The Ticket, from 10 to noon, the great Norm Hitchkiss is on there with his partner Donovan Lewis, and they do a segment every Monday after a Cowboys game. The 5 key plays you may not remember that had a major impact on the outcome of the game. We don't have 5 in this game, but we're gonna do 4. So I'm gonna dive right in here. At the end of the first half, Pilot Point is down 14-7. Brock is going to get the ball to start the second half, so points here would be big for the Bearcats. Pilot Point is on the drive to try to tie the game, and this is the first time we've busted this play out this year, but Pilot Point ran a play that uses some beautiful screen action and is able to slip Ish Harris out of the backfield, and he makes an amazing run after catch that was just, I went back and pulled the film and watched it when I was preparing for this, and it was just an incredible run. He's contacted almost immediately after catching the ball, breaks that tackle, breaks a few more tackles along the way, spins out of some, and takes it from the Brock 43-yard line all the way down to the Brock 2-yard line with 26 seconds left and a Bearcat timeout left. And you and I were celebrating. We just couldn't get over the run, and then old Scoops Callahan, Chance chimed in and pointed out there was some laundry on the field. Turns out to be an ineligible receiver downfield on the Bearcats. So instead of 1st and goal at the 2-yard line, it was 3rd and 15 at the Brock 48-yard line, a 46-yard swing in field position. Ultimately, it led to 0 points on the drive, and we went into halftime with a 7-point deficit.
And you hit it. It was a perfect play call at the perfect with Coach Marsh and Chance. You know that Chance loves to play the devil's advocate. Chimed in and told us about that penalty flag while we were finishing our celebration there. That penalty was an absolute killer. I think if that play would have stood, and I think the Bearcats would have punched that in from the 2, and we would have gone in 14-14 at half, and we're looking at a completely different ball game. And you called it by calling this the number 1 key play of the game. It's certainly the one that stood out to me and probably to most people looking back on that game.
Very similar to in 2008, we lost to Muleshoe. We had a 4th down at the goal line. We pushed Jarman in, they push him out. We push him in, they push him out. Falls at about the 1-foot line. Referees never ruled that he broke the plane, which he clearly did because I was pushing him and I broke the plane. But that was the difference between being up at halftime and being down at halftime in that case. This would be the difference of being tied. And, Brock comes out in the second half, scores a touchdown, goes up 2 scores. We answer to get back within 1. I mean, instead of being down a score at that point after our answer, it's a tie game late in the third quarter. I mean, yeah, it makes for a whole different ball game in that second half. Moving on to the second one. So this is, we've played a third quarter. I think we were outscored 14-7 in the fourth quarter. So it's a 2-possession game at the start of the fourth quarter. Pilot Point is driving, and then Wyatt Smith uncharacteristically makes a passing mistake and throws an interception to Brock. In the booth, we're talking about, man, that wasn't game over or anything, but it's a killer because you're down 2 scores. It's the start of the fourth quarter. You're on the move, and you throw an interception, and just when you think, okay, this is it, this could be the signal of the end, the first play that Brock comes out with after the interception is a Cutter Wilson run, and about 7 yards up the field, Aiden Cox, instead of going to wrap up Wilson, wraps the ball up, knocks it right out, and the freshman Gage Anderson jumps on it for the fumble recovery, and there's new life in the Bearcats after forcing that turnover.
Yeah, Ryan, and if you remember back to the Greg Davis offensive coordinator days with the Texas Longhorns back in the Mac Brown era, there was a lot of complaints about the way he called games, and in most cases it seemed to be pretty vanilla offense that he ran. But the one thing that I remember from that era that I loved that he always did, like clockwork, was he would go for the jugular the first play after a turnover and try to ride that wave of momentum and try to get an immediate score when the other team still is kind of in their field, so to speak, and kind of may have their head down. And so, man, I would have loved to seen us go, with the Aiden Cox fade immediately after that, try to catch them off guard. But unfortunately, like you said, we just couldn't turn that next possession into points in that situation. That would have been key.
Yeah, that would have been huge, which leads me to the third key play that you may not remember that has potentially a huge impact on the outcome of the game is on that drive. I wouldn't say it's immediately, but on that ensuing drive, there is a play where we sneak Colin Lynch out of the backside of the formation, and he's running what looks to be a fairly deep out and up. And he makes his out cut, and the safety comes up on the out cut. Well, about the time the safety comes up, Wyatt Smith releases the ball because this is a double move. Colin Lynch now starts the up portion of the out and up, and the safety realizes that he bit, and as Colin Lynch tries to complete the second part of his route, the safety jams his hand into the inside shoulder of Colin Lynch, kind of definitely impeding his progress, throwing him off his track. And if you remember, the ball was overthrown by only maybe a yard and a half, and that is definitely because of the safety coming up and throwing Colin Lynch off his route. And they let the guys play last night, and we were fairly happy with that. But if you remember, John, that is one where I pointed out to you and said, I like that they're letting them play, they're letting the game be decided on the field, but that in itself was a huge non-call by the officials.
Yeah, and again, Ron, I think Chance chimed in later on and played devil's advocate again and told us he thought both of them were kind of hand fighting on that. But we've certainly seen the offense get the benefit of the doubt on plays like that, and for that to be a no call, that was that, and for that to be a no call, that was the offensive game that people are playing. You always see the offense get the benefit of the doubt with the officials on plays like that, and that would have been huge.
Yeah, so the hand fighting I'm totally fine with on a go route, where the ball's in the air, we're both running, trying to make a play on the ball, each one of us got our hands on each other. That's all fair, But where it crosses the line from both guys hand fighting, both guys doing their part, is when the defender impedes the receiver from actually running his route. So if like I said, he's already in the up portion and they're running side by side and we see that's one thing. But he actually stopped Colin Lynch from running a crisper, up on that route. And I think it's the difference of that ball being completed. Now, I don't know if Colin Lynch is going to take that all the way into the end zone, but from where it was at in the field, we're going to end up having the ball probably inside the point bank red zone on that side of the field. And it just turns into be a huge play because that leads us into the fourth key play that you may not remember, but ultimately had a huge impact, and that is the final play on that drive. So we're still on that drive following where we forced the Brock turnover after they forced one of ours. We have the ball 4th and inches, and earlier in the game we had it 4th and inches, and like we do all year, we get under center and we quarterback sneak Wyatt Smith. So I was saying this as I was kind of calling it live. We under center. Brock knew it was coming earlier, and they timed it poorly. So they came up, and then the linebackers who were responsible for blitzing that gap were kind of having to take a step back as the ball was snapped, which allowed Wyatt to get that first down. But I think it showed the coaching staff enough that, hey, this is what we do in this situation every play all year. Now would be a perfect time to run something off of that because they think they know what's coming. And I kind of hinted at that before the play, and that's exactly what the Bearcats did. They decided they were going to try to run something to catch Brock off guard, and I would have loved to see what they ultimately decided on, but coming out from under center, Wyatt Smith was stepped on by one of his linemen and is falling down, and miraculously, as he's falling down, is able to pitch the ball to Ish Harris. And Ish catches it, but he's kind of caught off guard. It was basically an all-out blitz coming from Brock, and it ended up in a 4-yard loss and a turnover on downs.
Yeah, Ryan, this was the second big momentum shifter that I had noted after the first big play that we talked about that got called back for the illegal man downfield. And I like the play call there as well, just like you did. Just unfortunate execution. And most people would say, yeah, just go with the quarterback sneak there, keep it simple. But remember, most offenses aren't used to going under center anymore. And if you remember in the same game, we saw Brock fumble their snap when they tried to go under center because now they use so much shotgun. They're not used to the offense they used to run last year, so they fumbled their snap. And ultimately, Ish Harris made a great tackle, and we had a goal line stand of our own. So you can say, hey, just go with quarterback sneak, but that's not a given anymore either.
Yeah, and it's set up perfect. So you run plays like that all year. One, because they're effective, but you also, as a staff, you recognize I'm developing a trend here. I'm developing a pattern, and you use that to your advantage. Okay, I have a tendency here. The defense knows what's coming. You use your own tendency against the defense, and I don't always like going back to my days just because it probably gets old to listen to. But in 08 we were playing Pottsboro for the district championship early that district season, and we did the exact same thing on the goal line at the end of the first half. They know what's coming. That quarterback sneak, we called it wedge. Everyone knows it's coming. The coaches didn't even tell us offensive linemen that that's not the play that was coming. I think they might have told Nordy, the left tackle, but I'm not even confident they told him, like, it's wedge. But Coach Felt told Seth to pitch it to Jarman and have Jarman run our outside zone play. And while there's a pile of 19 bodies at the goal line, Jarman's caught the pitch and is literally walking in the end zone for a touchdown. That's potentially what we could have had happen there on that 4th down. Pottsboro knew the tendency that night. Brock knows the tendency and what's coming, and you try to capitalize on that and catch them by surprise. And like you said, execution-wise, it just didn't work out on that particular play. Those are the 4 key plays that, like I said, stick out to me that weren't like huge plays. They're not in the box score. But, man, they really had a major impact on what could have potentially been the outcome of this game.
Absolutely.
So, now that we've done some of that, we've recapped some of the action. I want to talk about potential, this is way jumping the gun, but while we're on the topic with Brock and what we saw Friday night, there were a lot of things that I think Brock put on film against us that I think are going to be very beneficial to this Bearcat team come early December if we're lucky enough to make it that far and have a matchup with them. It just baffled me, their unwillingness to send 2 guys over the top of Aiden Cox. At least it seemed to us. They did have a safety playing deep in the middle, but only on 3rd and longs did they seem to roll it over to him. There were even times where the ball's on the left hash and they're not even running their corner all the way to man up the receiver outside the far numbers. So what I'm hopeful we play these guys again. There's enough on film to say that we can make this a competitive game and maybe get the other side of it this time. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm with you, Ryan. I mean, we left Brock last season, and I think both of us looked at each other like, wow, we might have just seen the eventual state champion with that Brock Eagle team. They looked so disciplined. They were so committed in what they did, and Cash Jones just looked so outstanding and unstoppable. They had Chris Powell-Freeman, who was another fast back. I mean, they were just like an army that was just so well put together. And they got a new coach, Billy Mathis, this year. You can tell they've obviously switched to that spread, multiple offense. They're committed to throwing the ball a lot more. Now they've probably developed Nathan Jones a little bit more, and he's a heck of a target there. And on third and key downs, they seem to always go to him, and taking nothing away from their current running game, but they don't have the Cash Jones that they did. So I'm with you. I mean, if we face them again in the fourth round, now I will say there's probably a little bit too much fourth round playoff talk already because we got a tough road ahead of us, and so does everybody else. And I heard the CS Designs post game show with Coach Marsh and Chance Kirby, and man, there was a lot of fourth round playoff talk, and man, let's just take it. Let's go 0-0 and let's try to win this week because we got a tough opponent in front of us. But yeah, I'm with you in the rematch. Certainly, I would feel better this year versus that last year Brock Eagle team.
And you're absolutely right about the fourth round playoff talk. That being said, though, I feel like it's worth noting. And last thing I want to really talk about. So the score, I mentioned it in the beginning of this, the show. 34 points. That seems like a huge spread, right? But I want to recap the last 21 points of that game. It's a 14-point game or 15-point game, maybe because of a missed extra point on our end. And you called it on the show or on the broadcast. The defense started to get desperate, and what I mean by that is we had to maybe get out of character a little. We were really desperate to stop the run to try to get the ball back, and it was a third and short, and you had called. We'd gotten overly aggressive and really left the seam open for a tight end that's running routes there that's committed to play tight end in the Big Ten. Those tight ends are pretty good. Iowa and Wisconsin seem to put out one or two guys every year, that Big Ten, so they have a Big Ten tight end commit running up the seam. You kind of called it, but that was out of character because that was a desperation moment for the Bearcats. We need to stop the run here. If they throw the ball in the air, we're going to take our chances, and so got a little bit out of position on defense, and that's what they did. They attacked the seam. They scored a touchdown. That's a 3-score game with about 5-6 minutes to go. So, a few adjustments made here and there. You can see that maybe we get the touchdown before the half ends. There's a few things where now you see it. Well, the last two touchdowns, after that touchdown, they kick it off and they do this short little pooch kick, and we try to run up and field it, and we botch it, and Brock jumps on it, and now they get the ball 1st and 10 at the Bearcat 25-yard line. They punch it in. That's now an extra touchdown that is really uncharacteristic and wouldn't happen in a competitive game. And then right after that, they do the same thing, and this time we don't even botch trying to field it. Nobody runs over there to field it at all. Brock gets on it, puts another one in the end zone. So the last 3 touchdowns, one was a defense that was being forced into doing something out of character to try to, force a stop. And the last 2 were just, the game was up, felt like it was out of hand, not making heads-up play on special teams, and it snowballs on you. But, if you actually look at that and think about that, know how some of the other games went, you don't see like this one was too far out of reach, played again, as long as, we have to execute on every down of a playoff matchup, and I think that's a tough task, but you can see it, which is the whole point of this. You can see how it could happen, unlike last year when you and I just didn't really see how it could happen.
Nothing to hang our heads about playing the number 2 team in the state and really playing them a real tough 3 quarters. And, we did have those mental lapses there and got a little desperate in the fourth quarter. The game got away from them. But like I said, nothing to hang our hats about. Losing can be a great motivator, right? And, our previous loss was to Gunner, and then we rip off 6 straight wins. But also, I think it probably identified some things that we can get better at. Ultimate motivation when you lose, and so that's what I'm hopeful for out of this game. The outcome is that our Bearcats really regroup this week at practice and get refocused and improve on a couple of things, especially that kickoff return.
Well, one last question before I take us out of here. After the last time we lost, we rattled off 6 straight wins. Well, we just lost last Friday. What would 6 straight wins mean for us if we rattle them off here?
A state champion.
Yeah, well, the first step of winning 6 straight is winning 1, and we're going to discuss that 1 when we come back with the preview of the opening playoff game against the early Longhorns. So we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll come back for that.
Hey Bearcat fans, living in North Texas, you know all about bad weather. When bad weather does strike, look no further than James Floyd's Custom Roofing and Construction. Custom Roofing and Construction has built their business off of quality work and customer referrals. Let their friendly and knowledgeable staff ensure the project runs smoothly from start to finish. You can visit Custom Roofing and Construction on their website, customroofingdallas.com, or give them a call at 214-274-8353.
Welcome back to the Custom Roofing and Construction Bearcat pregame show. Like I said, unfortunately, we had a couple guests lined up. They fell through late this week, so no guests this week, which just means we had a little bit more time to recap last week, and we'll have a little bit more time to preview this week. So, as I've mentioned a few times in my past here on doing things for PollyPointBearcats.com, Coach Felt used to break our seasons down into 3 individual seasons. Season 1 was your non-district schedule. Your non-district schedule was kind of about finding who you were, finding your identity, who your key players were going to be, how you actually start developing, into who you're ultimately going to be when it matters. Season 2 is that district schedule, which, ultimately you want to win a district championship, but it's not just about that. It's also about, okay, now we know who we are. Let's take each and every week to improve on that and really build this team up and into our identity. So when we start season 3, which is the season that really matters, playoff season, you're fine-tuned and you're ideally playing the best football you've played all year. So now that we're here, it's playoff season, it's time. Last year, we had a great game against Boyd. We took a thumping to Brock. And then we go into the playoffs not really knowing how we feel about ourselves, and we rattle off a deep playoff run past Thanksgiving. Win some games big and ultimately give the eventual state championships a real run for their money at Tarleton State. I think the Bearcats are playing better football right now than they were at this very point last year. What do you think about that assessment of this Bearcat team?
Well, Big 5-0, I agree with you, man. I think that we have more weapons all in all this season, and probably a more capable, dynamic passing game that we've seen out of this team. And we have the ability to get more people involved. And we've seen guys like Gage Anderson, Crew Chandler, Cade Carter, Colin Lynch. They've all seemed to take big strides this season and become targets in key moments. And of course, not even mentioning our normal guys, Ish Harris and Aiden Cox and Wyatt Smith. But I think that the surrounding cast is even greater this year. Of course, we're going to be missing Big Play Jay. He seemed to always come through for us last year in the playoffs, so we'll see if some guys can step up and kind of fill that role. But one thing I'll say is that, even though I think we both think we're playing better football at this point compared to last year, I think that this first round opponent is much improved over the first round opponent of last season. Last season, we started out with Clyde, and we kind of boat raced on 56-16, and it was basically over at half. We got our JV in for most of the second half there at Tarleton, and you and I don't know if we expected that, but looking back, I think Clyde had some key injuries and things, and they just weren't. They really weren't up to what I see out of these early Longhorns that we're going to be playing. So I don't see this game against Early playing out like that, even though I think, like you said, we're probably at a better spot than we were at this point last year.
Yeah, I definitely think we are. I think we played a even more solid district schedule this year. We had a really competitive game against Brock going into the playoffs. I think we should have all the confidence in the world right now, and I think we're going to see that Friday night against the Early Longhorns. They are the next opponent. I am about to take a page from the Bearcat Insider pregame show that they did last year, where they actually try to talk about the city some before we talk about the team, because once we start getting into the playoffs, start playing some teams from further West Texas, don't really have much of a history, don't know much about them. So Early, Texas is in Brown County in it's kind of west central Texas. Population is estimated at around 3,160 people. The area that Early is in was settled in the early 1850s by a man named Welcome W. Chandler. So his first name was Welcome. And but this area got their first post office in town, actually in Welcome W. Chandler's home in 1858. So that's kind of what makes you, at least back then, kind of what makes you a city, makes you an incorporated area, is a post office, and it was being run out of Mr. Chandler's home in 1858. But that was actually kind of the Brownwood community. So that was the city of Brownwood and the surrounding areas. Well, in 1951, Early separated from Brownwood. They had a few schools in town. They had a population of about 600 at the time. In 1951, they became the town of Early. So that is a little bit of the history of the city. There seems to be no people of enough importance to be listed on the World Wide Web as from Early, Texas. So I couldn't find any most famous person from Early, Texas. I mean, there is a most famous person from Early, Texas. Just, I don't know who they are, right? We don't know who they are. I'm sure somebody from Early might know. Maybe we can get them on the Sunset Pools of North Texas live
They'll tell
chat.
us on the chat line.
Somebody, yeah, somebody is, from famous from Early. Now to the football team. Early finished third in District 3A. They finished season 8-2, and they went 3-2 in district. Early scores 39 points per game and only allows 17, so that's a pretty healthy margin of plus 22 in point differential. They started off district 0-2 with losses to Jim Ned, who won the district, and Breckenridge, who finished second. But then they rallied with 3 consecutive wins over Clyde, San Angelo, Texas Leadership Charter Academy, who might be the one team I found that's worse than Nakona. And then the surprising one was their week 11, I guess, last week, their upset of Wall, which kind of threw us into a frenzy and set this whole matchup up. We were expecting Breckenridge to finish third, which meant that's who we were going to play. Breckenridge has kind of been a hot team this year, up and coming. Reminds me of Jim Ned in 2019 when we played them in the first round and beat them. A lot of young guys, it seems, over there, and they're really up and coming. But Early's the opponent. So that's kind of their numbers and a little bit about them. As far as schematics, though, John, their schemes, offensively, defensively, why don't you get us a little more familiar with what to expect?
Yeah, Ryan. Early, so offensively, they're very similar to our Bearcats. They feature multiple personnel groupings, and they're going to be more pass-heavy than run-heavy. They have a very capable offensive team with a real solid quarterback, running back, and a pair of wide receivers that I'll get into in the players to watch. They're mainly out of shotgun multiple. The main difference that I've seen from our Bearcat offense on film is they like to use a little bunch formation with 3 receivers, and I did see them run a pass trick play for a touchdown. And I'm not sure if that was against Wall, but it was a key touchdown for them. So you got to watch out for the tricks. And then on defense, the Early Longhorns will operate out of a 4-3 man scheme. Their backers are run first players, and the secondary operates heavily out of man coverage. They're real good at what they do. They got a stable group of solid defensive players, and like you said, they're only giving up 16, 17 points per game, and that also includes their biggest loss of the season was 48-7 to Jim Ned. and so that kind of skews that average up. So 17 is kind of misleading. I mean, they got a really solid defense and they've had a couple of shutouts on the year.
Well, a stingy defense and an offense that can throw the ball around, that is something that might present a challenge to this Bearcat team because at times we've struggled to defend the pass. There have been times where a stingy defense can limit the way it take us a little bit to get going. So, I mean, this is not going to be last year's first round matchup against Clyde for sure. It sounds like
good.
you hinted at a couple receivers that you were going to talk about. So let's move on that way and go to John's players to watch.
Yeah, and players to watch for the early Longhorns. Their quarterback is number 10. He's a junior. It's Jackson Price, 6'1", 165. They got him listed running a 4.7 40. He's a tall, lean kid with a good arm. Runs the offense efficiently. He's a good leader. He's listed at 4.7 40, but his running stats aren't that great. He's negative 27 rushing yards on the season. That's really from sacks, so he's not much of a run threat. He's a complete passing threat, though. He's got 1,796 yards passing. He's passing at 61% completion percentage, 25 touchdowns through the air. So he's averaging about 200 yards per game through the air. And he does not play defense, so we shouldn't see him on the defensive side. And then their real playmaker is a running back, senior number 3, Trey Beam. He's listed 5'10", 165, runs a 4.7 40. He's a speedster. He's super athletic. He's their playmaker. He's got 167 carries on the year for 1,125 yards. He averages 6.7 yards per carry. In 7 out of the 10 games, he's had 100 plus yards on the ground, and he's got 11 TDs on the ground this season. And defensively, he's a force as well. He's got 55 total tackles from the linebacker spot, 6 sacks, 8 hurries, and 19 tackles for loss. So he likes to blitz, and he gets in the backfield, and he makes plays. So number 3, Trey Beam, is a serious guy to watch out for. And then you hinted at the wide receiver core. They've got 2 guys that are key wide receivers for them. Number 2, junior wide receiver defensive back Jeremy Brown. He's listed at 5'8", 135. Runs a 4.6 40, so he's another speedster. He's a smaller guy. But he's their leading receiver with 47 receptions, 635 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns on the year. And defensively, he's got 37 tackles and 37 tackles with 3 of them coming for loss on the season. So he plays both ways. And then the guy I really like, and on film you can really see it, it's number 4, John Stewart Gordon. He's a junior wide receiver, defensive back, listed at 5'8", 150, runs a 4.7 40. He's a slot receiver. He's my favorite player to watch on that early team. Man, when he gets his hands on the ball, he is a tough dude to bring down. He runs extremely hard. I mean, he's like Mike Allstott, but in Cole Beasley's body. I mean, that guy, he gives it his all. He's got 33 receptions, 520 yards, and 6 touchdowns on the season receiving. And then defensively, he's in on 24 tackles, and he's a ball hawk on defense from the secondary position. He's got 5 interceptions. So you got to watch out for number 4, John Stewart Gordon. So that's it for the early Longhorns. For our Pilot Point Bearcats, of course, I'm going to highlight our normal guys. Number 5, junior quarterback Wyatt Smith. He's got 2,167 passing yards now in the season, 18 touchdowns, only 4 INTs. I think you and I both have been real impressed with the way he takes care of the ball. A couple of those INTs were late in halves or late in the game where he's just going down the field. And he's got 6 TDs rushing, so Wyatt Smith is our guy at QB. And then, of course, Ish Harris, number 21, our senior running back, defensive back, linebacker. Man, he really stepped it up against Brock, had a great game. He's up to 831 yards now in the season, rushing with 14 touchdowns on the ground. And he's got 4 games with 100-plus rushing on the ground now. And he's really improved his receiving. He's got 191 yards and 2 touchdowns receiving.
The views and opinions expressed by Ryan Menard and John Little are those of the broadcaster and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Pilot Point Independent School District or PilotPointBearcats.com. Any content or comments provided by our broadcast team is their opinion and is not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, anyone, or anything. This broadcast of Pilot Point football may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any other form without the expressed written consent of PilotPointBearcats.com.
This is Bearcat football on PilotPointBearcats.com.
Under center here, Brock brings pressure, and it's going to leave a hole up the middle. It's Harris. It's Harris. He has the chance. He's going to take it to the house. Almost green on the side.
Like we're
we're going to get his Harris there. He's going to stroll in. There he goes. That same play call. Ish Harris strolls in.
And now to the booth with Ryan Menard and John Little.
We are live. Good evening, Bearcat fans. You're listening to the Pilot Point Bearcats on PilotPointBearcats.com, brought to you by the Speed of Light Broadband. I'm Ryan Menard, and with me tonight is Mr. 29, John Little. It's the playoffs. We're here at Rough Rider Stadium in Saginaw tonight, where we are opening the playoff season with a bi-district matchup against the early Longhorns from the District 3A. They finished third in that district, but this is not going to be a pushover like Clyde was coming out of that same spot last year. With Early being a hot team right now, riding a 3-game win streak, what are you looking to see out of the Bearcats tonight?
Well, Ryan, I tell you what, I want to see these guys get off to a hot start. This, like you said, this early team is not going to be the pushover that we had in that first round last year, and like we had at Stephenville. This team's very competitive. The teams 2 through 4 in that district really it came down to point differential: Wall, Breckenridge, and Early, and so. They're a very competitive district. We saw Wall yesterday hung in there with Brock as long as they could, at least, and it gave them pretty good 3 quarters. I think they finished they lost 40-7 to the Brock Eagles, but Wall gave them a pretty good game. And just the last week of district last week, Early beat Wall 24-14, kind of an upset. But what I saw is that Early came out and they were fired up, man. They were ready to play. So I expect the same kind of energy tonight, and so to take a page out of the Mac Daddy's era of those Longhorns, we gotta show up early, we gotta be loud, and we gotta stay late, and hopefully our fans are into it, and the energy's right, and we get off to a good start tonight, because I think we're in for a good 4 quarters of football here tonight.
Yep, Early possesses a potent passing game and a stingy defense. The Longhorn quarterback Jackson Price has thrown for 1,800 yards in the season and 25 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions, so he doesn't give the ball away. And if you take the Jim Ned game off of Early's schedule, they only allow 13 points a game. So how important is it for the Bearcats to get off to a good start and set the tone early tonight?
Well, there it is. I'm proud of you already, Ron. You're becoming a dad, and you got that little early joke in there early. So I like it. I'm glad we got in this booth early today. Otherwise, we might not be here.
Yeah,
we might be somewhere else.
Yep.
But yeah, it's going to be super critical, and we're gonna have to hang on to the football because, like I said last week, Early came up with 2 big-time fumble recoveries in the red zone against Wall, and of course Wall's got that patented triple option academy style football that they run. They're kind of breaking away from that a little bit, and they will go shotgun as well. Saw that against Brock, but these guys are definitely going to spread it out. They got some playmakers. They got some guys that can score in bunches. So we're going to have to make some tackles. We're going to have to be sure tackling tonight. The defense is really going to have to step up, and I'm really curious to see how our pass rush and offensive line does against their pass rush tonight, because I think that's going to be critical.
Yeah, to elaborate a little on what John was referencing about getting here early. There's been Pilot Point versus Early tonight so far. Pilot Point's 1-0. Seemed to be a race for this particular broadcast booth, and we got here first, and they told us that we might have to go outside because this is where they were supposed to be. And we are still here, and they're not. So Pilot Point's 1-0 so far in the evening.
Well, how big of boys were there, Ryan?
I think I could have taken them both.
Oh,
it's not the size that was the factor. It was they were probably.
You never know, man. Those UFC guys are scrappy. They got a bunch of tattoos. What do they look like?
They
Muay Thai fighters?
They were quite a bit older than me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we would have, Roger and I, between us two, we would have had it. We'd had it just fine.
I would have come in off the top ropes late.
Yeah. Stone Cold music starts off right as it gets going. All right, these two teams tonight are playing for the right to play Shallow Water in the next round. Shallow Water played last night, defeated Dalhart 56-18. Bearcat fans, if you remember from last year, we're a little familiar with Shallow Water. We played them last year in Breckenridge in the second round of the playoffs. But let's dive into the numbers regarding tonight's game. Pilot Point is 23-15 all-time in the by-district round. Pilot Point and Early have never played, but we did play in Early in 2017 in a by-district game against Wall. We're 10-8 all-time against towns who start with an E. Last matchup of that type was in 2006, where Pilot Point upset the number one ranked team in the state, 14-13 in the by-district round that year. Pilot Point has never played a team with a Longhorn as the mascot. The last time Pilot Point played in this stadium was on November 28, 2009 against Godley. Pilot Point won that game 24-23 with a Ruben Martinez field goal as time expired. Pilot Point is 5-4 all-time on November 12th. Listing the district breakdowns, so we all know Brock finished first in our district, Pilot Point second, Whitesboro third, Peaster fourth. Brock did win their opening playoff game last night. Pilot Point, Whitesboro, Peaster all play tonight. District 3, Jim Ned won that district. Breckenridge finished second, Early finished third, Wall finished fourth. Wall took the loss last night, as you referenced, to Brock, but you also referenced that Breckenridge, Early, and Wall all finished 3-2 in district, and it came down to whatever their tiebreaker was. But I know Wall did start off 0-2, or no, Early started off 0-2.
I heard it was point differential.
Yeah, I did the numbers, and that's what I came up with, but I didn't actually. It made sense because it worked out, but I didn't know what they actually did. Early's riding a 3-game win streak where they beat Wall, San Angelo, there's a charter school in San Angelo, and Clyde. So now let's do a check of the weather and the uniforms for tonight's game.
Yes, sir, Big 5-0. So weather-wise, it's currently 52 degrees at real feel 48. Wind out of the northwest at 8 miles per hour. There's no rain in the forecast. It is a bit chilly. I saw Aiden Cox, a few of the guys rocking the long sleeves today. And then as far as uniforms go, the Early Longhorns are the home team, and they're rocking purple jerseys with the white numbers and gold accents, white pants. They've got the white helmets, and they've got a purple Longhorn with gold accents on it. And then our Pilot Point Bearcats are the visiting team, and we're rocking white helmets with black numbers, traditional look. White jerseys with the orange numbers and orange Pilot Point across the back and Bearcats across the chest. And we're going with the orange pants tonight, I believe. Yep, orange pants.
John, I'm going to have to interrupt you real quick. I think Pilot Point's going to move to 2-0 so far with things we can compare. The Early Longhorn run-through sign is about 6.5 feet tall by maybe 10
school.
feet wide. It's tiny.
It's the old school breakaway sign. But I don't think it's not the one that the cheerleaders paint like in the gym or anything. This is just a tearaway. They need to invest. That's all I'm going to say.
It takes 4 grown men to hold our sign up, and they have 3 cheerleaders holding their sign up, and it barely stands taller than them.
They got to get a skinny line just to. They got to go 2 by 2. They can't. If they go 4 wide, they're going to hurt a cheerleader.
Yeah. So sorry. All right. Did we get to the weather? I know we did uniforms. Let's do weather real quick.
Yeah. I touched on the weather, Ryan.
Okay.
It's 52 degrees. Real feel 48. Just slight wind, 8 miles per hour out of the northwest. So I see the flag blowing a little bit, but I don't think it's going to play much of a factor tonight. And really no chance of rain.
All right. Well, the teams have come out of their respective dressing rooms waiting to run through. Pilot Point is in the giant new Bearcat head waiting to come through their sign, which hasn't been brought up yet because it's kind of tough to hold. Early has no Longhorn head or anything.
They're looking over there kind of envious. I got to be honest with you. Look at them. They're looking at our Bearcat head thinking, man, it'd be warmer if we were inside of something like that.
I think they're feeling very vulnerable right now because, like I said, there's not a whole lot keeping them. Not very intimidating of a run out here, but hey, I guess that's not what it's all about. It's all about what you have in the four quarters and playing football that way. I thought they were gonna rock more yellow in their jersey or gold, but they truly are just purple jerseys, white pants, white helmets, and they have the gold stripes. I thought gold would be more accented. Nice stadium here. It's brings back good memories for me. It seems like the same turf that was here in 2009, so it's getting a bit worn down. But
got some age to it.
It does have some age to it, but nice facilities here. It's a beautiful evening for football, and as the teams get ready to run through, we're going to do our first commercial break of the night, and we'll come back, get ready for the coin flip, and get this game started.
10 years ago, a Cowgirls Kennel opened with a unique approach to dog boarding. At a Cowgirls Kennel, your dog will stay in a 12 by 12 area. Let me say that again. Your dog will stay in a 12-foot by 12-foot area. That's larger than most guest bedrooms. If you have more than one dog, they can stay together. Their professional staff will give you the peace of mind so you can enjoy your trip. A Cowgirls Kennel is not just for dogs. They can accommodate your cat in their brand new catchuary. Make your reservations today at 940-600-2853. Your dogs will thank you for it.
Both teams have ran out onto the field. We're going to see who the captains are tonight for each team. Referees are over on the sidelines getting them all together. Going to have the coin flip, it looks like, for early. We're going to have number 68, Bradley Roman. Number 60, Cody Jackson. Number 55, Corbin Hall. And number 64, Chris Crawford. So they're going with some hogs. All linemen as their captains.
Gotta like it.
Pilot Point looks like they're going Dak Morgan, Curly Brockman. I believe it might be Aaron.
Is that who it is?
No. We're pretty far up here. I believe that's number 54, Alfonso Ortiz, and 55, Eddie Gatan.
I can see Curly Brockman. He's 6'6", 245.
And Curly Brockman's there on the end there. Early has an injured senior defensive back, Jake Simpson, number 81, out there for the coin flip as well. So we'll see what the Bearcats want to do tonight, if they can win the toss. I know they generally like to defer.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Chance, loud and clear.
I just want to make sure this mic was working. I wanted to let you know those binoculars, John. You can thank H-Town Hog on the chat for that. His courier didn't get those to you like they were supposed to.
Oh, we don't have them. Oh, we got
sir.
baited. There looks like a.
You don't have them.
Yeah, there looks like a binocular bag up here. We just rifled through it.
You can blame H-Town Hog for that.
Okay, well.
Check it out.
Thank you, sir.
Pilot Point has won the toss and has elected to defer. So that means Early's going to get the ball to start this game, and they're going to get a chance to set the tone on offense, or the Bearcat defense come out and get a stop and get this game kicked off here. We'll start off with the Southern Junkies kickoff in the first quarter, brought to you by Ernesto's Mexican Restaurant. Shout out to our statistician tonight, Chris Nortman, who is working remotely tonight, doing our stats. He has corona, but he's hanging in there. He's doing well. Apparently, he was productive today, cleaned the house a little bit, which I think it takes a pandemic to get him to clean the house.
I'm impressed.
But we're going to step away for the national anthem here, and we'll be back with the Southern Junkies kickoff. All right, we are back with the national anthem played by what seemed to be the early Longhorn Band. Did an excellent job. The early crowd is here. They are loud. They are ruckus. They are underneath us here. Bearcat crowd is there and still filing in a little. But the Bearcats are going to kick this one off from Rough Rider Stadium here in Saginaw, Texas.
Let's go Bearcats. What'd you guys do, Ron? Did you always defer?
I think Coach Felt had a feel. I don't exactly remember. I don't think we deferred.
We always deferred. Back in my day.
Yeah, and I'm sure y'all were in the same boat as us. I honestly feel like there was a lot of games we played where we expected to be pretty big winners. So it was like we needed to take the ball to start the game to make sure our offensive players got the most amount of reps on offense.
Yeah.
A lot of second halves where you didn't see Jarman Johnson or Seth Tilley. Elias Alejos has the teed up at the 40-yard line right in the center. And we're getting ready for the Southern Junkies kickoff to start the first quarter, brought to you by the Ernesto's Mexican Restaurant. The kick is a low-line drive, and it's going to be fielded on the hop at about the 22-yard line. Good coverage there by the Bearcats. Can't make the first tackle, will make the second. The early Longhorns are going to get the ball 1st and 10 at their own 35 on the right hash to get this one started. Early came out physical.
Yeah, they did. Looks like Brooks Kiplinger, number 50, who's Dakota David, were getting after it.
Yep, they were engaged about 20 yards from the ball, just getting after it. So early comes out in the shotgun, 1 receiver right, 2 receivers left. They have a tight end on the left side, jet sweep motion. Running back on the right side. It's going to be a run to the left side up the middle, broken tackle, and there's some space. And can we track him down? Ish Harris is going to try to push him down, but ultimately I think it's going to be Crew Chandler that brings him down at about the Bearcat 11-yard line. That's Trey
Beam. We're going to be calling his number 3, quite often tonight because he's a 1,100-yard back. Ryan, he's got some speed on him.
Well, we had an opportunity at the line of scrimmage to make it happen, but once that tackle didn't go through, there was a lot of green grass there, and ultimately we bring him down at the 15-yard line of the Bearcats, so it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 15. Snap, hand off the other side. Bearcat defense does an excellent job getting penetration here, and that's a 2-yard loss. It looks like this big Gavin Wheeler on the tackle right there. That's what we need after a big run like that, is a big defensive tackle getting in the backfield and causing some havoc.
Great job there by big Gavin Wheeler plugging that hole.
Yeah, we're going to run trips right here. Trey Beam next to quarterback Jackson Price. 1 receiver left. They're looking like they're having a little trouble getting their calls in. Finally got it going, so.
And we're playing all uptight, no safety deep.
Yep, rolling it right towards the trips, looking downfield, throws it. Going to be caught and get in the end zone. That's number 1, Kai Houston on the early touchdown for early. Gage Anderson in coverage was right there. It's one thing I've noticed from these young corners of the Bearcats is there's a lot of times they're actually in good position. They just can't seem to finish the play after the catch is made. And early goes 3 plays, looks like 65 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that out of Aston Kirby last year, and then we saw that maturity after that.
Yep, Nick's Italian PAT is through and is good. 10 minutes, 46 seconds left in the first quarter. Early 7, Pilot Point 0. We'll be back after this.
Advanced Care Veterinary Hospital, Pilot Point, has been caring for animals around the Pilot Point area for the past 30 years. Large and small pets can expect a quality experience unmatched by other clinics. Advanced Care Veterinary Hospital of Pilot Point offers all the services you'd expect from your veterinarian. They provide preventative care, which includes vaccinations, flea, tick, and heartworm prevention. They also provide sick animal care, surgical, and dental needs with their full-service lineup. Good luck to the Bearcats this season from Advanced Care Veterinary Hospital of Pilot Point, where pets are family.
Hi, I'm Jackie Collins, and I am a wellness coach and owner of the Bearcat Nutrition Den. Do you want more energy to feel great, lose weight, and improve health? If your answer is yes, then get in touch today. Get your day started with the delicious healthy meal replacement shake and energizing tea. Come and see me today at the Nutrition Den located at 432 South Highway 377, Pilot Point, Texas. I'm Jackie Collins, and I look forward to seeing you guys.
Southern Junkies kickoff. Let's see what the Bearcat kickoff return team learned after last week at the end of the game when they had a few mishaps. And early is going to go right at what our weakness was last week with the pooch Gage Anderson's going to field it off of one hop. He's going to try to get it back in the middle of the field. Breaks a tackle, spins out down to about the 24-yard line. Bearcats are going to get the ball 1st and 10 from their own 24 in mostly the center of the field.
Yeah, like I said, good job by Gage Anderson. He fielded that kind of on a short hop, and it looks like Early's going to go with that same strategy that Brock had late in the game and just kind of pooch it in front of Gage or Kurt Chandler on the other side.
Yeah, it looks like the offense gets to choose where they want their initial spot to be, so it's going to be marked on the right hash towards the Bearcat sidelines. Next to Wyatt Smith is going to be Gage Anderson to start this one off, and we're going to have Ish Harrison kind of a wing back. And it's going to be a jet sweep to him right off the bat to the right side. Spins out of a tackle, gets up to about the 29-yard line. So about 5 yards there on that first down carry from Ish Harris from the 24 to, no, they're going to mark him to 28, so 4 yards there. That's a new wrinkle.
Yeah. Showed a little bunch formation on this near side with Aiden and Ish next to each other. Kate Carter had a nice little block and got Ish around the corner there.
Yep. Crew Chandler, Aiden Cox split out to the wide side of the field for the Bearcats along with Ish Harris. So trips this way. Gage Anderson next to Wyatt Smith. Jet sweep motion, and it's going to go a quarterback keeper this time. And Wyatt Smith's going to get to the line of scrimmage, break a tackle, and get 2 yards on it. It's going to set up a 3rd and 4 here. Use that jet sweep motion to try to get them keying on Ish and get some yardage, and Early was disciplined.
Yeah, and that's plays worked for us quite often. White does a good job of faking that. I like to see us set it up a little bit more before we use it, but went with it on the second play today.
Line to game is going to be the 34-yard line. Wyatt Smith's going to roll out right, looking to pass, and he's going to be picked off. Going for Aiden Cox. It was jumped by number 4, and Early's going to take this one back to the house. John Stewart Gordon jumped.
Flag on the play, guys. Flag on the play.
I do see it towards the line of scrimmage on that sideline, though. Where it's thrown, it doesn't look like it's a hold. We'll see what it is. Bear with us. Hopefully this advanced care penalty benefits the Bearcats.
Absolutely. I'm just glad Chance chimed in with some good news.
Well,
not used to that.
Hopefully good news. We'll see. That is going to be on. No, it's on the Bearcats, and it's going to be declined. The referee was way away from where I thought he should be to make the call. All I saw was him point Bearcats, wave it off, so the touchdown will stand for the Longhorns, and they're about as good of a start as you can ask for if you're the early Longhorns.
Man, I'll tell you what. And that number 4, that kid he's a player.
John Stewart Gordon.
Yeah, John Stewart Gordon. I highlighted him in the custom roofing and construction pregame show. It's a player I really like. He's got a bunch of interceptions. He's their leading guy on the year.
Uncharacteristic early mistake. This Nick's Italian PAT is a low line drive that is wide right. So the PAT is no good. 9:27 left in the first quarter. Early 13, Pilot Point 0.
Hey Bearcat fans, time is running out to be a webcast sponsor for the 2021 Pilot Point football season. Last year, our Pilot Point webcast had just under 30,000 views. If you want an advertisement that speaks directly to the community of Pilot Point, our webcast ads are the way to go. Contact us today and we'll find an advertising opportunity that fits your budget. Don't miss your chance to be part of a winning team. Go Bearcats!
So after one possession for each team, it's 13-0 early. So they march down the field, 3 plays, 65 yards, and a touchdown. And then on the first third down of the game for the Bearcats, Wyatt Smith rolls out right, tries to hit a deep curl to Aiden Cox. John Stewart Gordon jumps it, catches it, and there's really no one between him and the end zone, and he's able to punch it in. So early here, Longhorns making a statement. I said I was preparing for this, I started looking at past matchups between District 4 and District 3 because we meet up every year in this first round. District 4, for the most part, has gotten the better of District 3, and I was slightly concerned that this being the final year, it may, I was afraid it would correct itself here, but this kickoff, the Southern Junkie kickoff, goes out of bounds. That advanced care penalty is going to go against the Longhorns and set Pilot Point up with a better field position.
Yeah, good job by Gage Anderson, just letting that go out of bounds. And going back to that interception, Ryan, that was John Stewart Gordon's 6th INT of the season. He's a ball hawk, and he leads the team with 6 interceptions. So we've got to be careful going on his side.
Yeah, so it looked like he was respecting Aiden Cox's deep play ability because he was running off But once Aiden stopped his route, he hit the gas and was able to get in front of that. He was almost waiting on the ball by the time he got there, and was able to get it in the end zone. So the Bearcats are going to have to dig in here and try to get on the scoreboard to answer back. Under center here, I right formation. Snap's going to be a pitch out to Ish Harris. Picks up a good block by Colin Lynch, but is only able to get about 2 yards on the carry. Colin Lynch did a good job of kicking out the initial guy, but seemed to be an outside linebacker who was able to get over there and take Ish's feet out from under him.
Yeah, number 55, Corbin Hall for the early Longhorns made a nice tackle right around the thigh there. If he would have missed him, Ish had some room to run on that far side.
Yep, so it's just up 2nd 8 at the 32-yard line of the Bearcats. And it's going to be a pass rolling out left, looking to throwing it deep to Crew Chandler. Kind of falls to nobody. At the end of that, Wyatt Smith took a hit there, falls incomplete. 3rd and 8.
Yeah, and already it looks like our passing game is a little bit off, right? And I was slightly worried about that. You know, with Max Holler, he had Bearcat playoff experience, not necessarily a quarterback, but he had that playoff experience, and he brought it in the playoffs last year. So hopefully Wyatt calms his nerves and settles down here quickly.
Working on the Bearcats, getting their alignment set up here, 3rd and 8. Another kind of new formation here for the Bearcats. Drop straight back to pass. Wyatt Smith looking. He's going to get the seam down the middle. Crew Chandler. And Crew Chandler cannot bring it in down the seam all alone, and it's going to result in a 4th and 8 and a Bearcat punt. That one hurts.
Sure does. It looked like, I mean, if Crew corrals that, I think he's got a touchdown there. He was behind the safety.
Yep, definitely a great design. Watching the replay, he was behind everyone, and I think he might have been tracked down with an angle, but it would have been deep within early Longhorn territory.
I think that was Wyatt's best throw of the night.
It's right where it needed to be. The punt, Aiden Cox fields it, and he's going to have plenty of time. This is a booming punt. This is a good one, high. See what the bounce we get. We get a good bounce. It's going to roll out at the Longhorn 33-yard line. When we come back early, we'll have the ball at their own 33.
For the best Mexican food experience, visit Uncle Beto's Mexican Restaurant on the corner of Liberty Street and Highway 377 in Pilot Point. Uncle Beto's offers the freshest and most authentic flavors that you can only find in the best Mexican cuisine. Dine in, or if you prefer curbside service, call Uncle Beto's at 940-686-0143 and order your food to go. Be sure to make Uncle Beto's a part of your game night routine either before the game or up until 10 p.m. on game night. Uncle Beto's is ready to serve all you hungry football fans. Uncle Beto's is a family-owned and operated business proudly supporting the Pilot Point Bearcats.
First down on the drive, they come out with a tray beam run up the middle, 5 yards before he's brought down by big number 55, Eddie Catan. Not a whole lot of movement by the early offensive line, but we just couldn't bring him down initially, allowed him to squeeze through and get 5 yards. 2nd 5, drop back to pass, and they're going deep right here.
Fade.
Gage Anderson, this time in great position, and is able to get his head around and knock it down, deflect the pass. Going to set up a 3rd and 5.
Perfect position there by Gage.
Kai Houston again was the target.
Yeah, he's running step for step with the receiver and got it, like you said, got his head back, and that's the key. Locate the ball, and then got his left arm down up there to deflect the ball.
Yep, got his head around in time to make a play on the ball. That's another thing we've seen this year, is the corner gets his head around right as the ball's going over his head. There was an advanced care penalty on the play on the early Longhorns. It's a 5-yard variety. So, Chance, did you see what the call was? I heard you try to get on there. It must have been a pre-snap penalty of some sort of illegal shift. Too many men in the backfield, maybe. Trips right here for the Longhorns. They get the Bearcats to jump, so they're going to get a free play here. And it's going to be caught in the flat. And now Crew Chandler's not going to be able to track him down. Crew Chandler's able to push him out of bounds in Bearcat territory at the 45-yard line of the Bearcats. The advanced care penalty is going to be on the Bearcats, but it's going to be declined. And that's a 1st down for the early Longhorns.
Yeah, good job by Jackson Price, early quarterback, to go ahead and follow through with that play. And then, like you said, Crew just got his right arm on the receiver to push him out of bounds, or else he might have taken that to the house.
Yep, trips right. Bearcats late getting set up, but it's a run to the left side. Trey Beam breaks the first tackle, makes a man miss, and Ish is going to have to try to get there and push him out of bounds, and he does get him pushed out of bounds at the inside the 10, but they're going to say that I think it's Gage Anderson was able to, no, it's Colin Lynch was able to push him out a little earlier than that. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Bearcat 13-yard line. Early is coming out aggressive.
They sure are. Man, they're just moving the ball right down the field.
Yep, well, Bearcats are getting punched in the mouth here. Let's see how they can respond.
We really need to stiffen up here. This is a big possession.
Yep. Hard count. Bearcats don't jump this time, so it's going to be reset. Looking to get an audible here. Easy. They're changing the play here. They're gonna end up. I don't know if they're gonna get the play off. 2 seconds, 1 second. It goes to 0. Ooh. They give it to him there, and it's going to be a slant route overthrown. See coach on the Bearcat sidelines letting the officials have it because the play clock definitely clicked down to 0.
Delay game.
You know, they gave him the whole NFL rule there where it was a full second and a half after it hit 0. You have a full second and a half after it hits 0 to snap it.
Didn't hurt us, though. We
nope.
had good defense on that play.
Yeah, I'd rather take, So second and 10 here from the 13-yard line. Drop back to pass. And this ball's bad at the line of scrimmage. Colin Lynch tries to come up and get it. He can't. Incomplete. Who else? Aiden Cox bats it down at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. And Bearcats were bringing a blitz on that. And great job by Colin Lynch recognizing that the ball was tipped so he can go right through the receiver to try to get that interception. He was just a step away from it.
Yep, so 3rd and 10 here. Judging, I don't know the early kicking situation. The first extra point looked like they had a good kicker. The second extra point did not. So trips right. They're going to look that way to throw the ball, and they're going to have a man in the flat. And they get a block, and they get in the end zone again. That's number 4, John Stewart Gordon with the early touchdown.
They've got some players, Ron, and they're showing out. Number 4 is a player.
Well, if you remember last year, this is how the game started in the exact opposite way. Pilot Point came out after a week after getting blown out by Brock and really put it on Clyde. I don't know if they expected that this to be similar to Clyde, but Early has come out and put it on them.
Sure have.
Nick's Italian PAT is low line drive. It goes through, cleared the crossbar about maybe half foot.
Thought he shanked that one.
7:30 left in the first quarter. Early 20, Pilot Point 0.
Located in Pilot Point, Texas, the Chandler family has been making custom cabinets for over 40 years. As a team, Chandler Cabinets is committed to designing and building the perfect cabinets for you. They will make the process comfortable and stress-free by personally guaranteeing a superior product built on the standard of superior craftsmanship and immaculate customer satisfaction. From concept to completion, perfect form and function. Chandler Cabinets is an award-winning company with a reputation for consistent innovation at the highest level of design. You can find more information on Chandler Cabinets at chandlercabinets.net or on their Facebook page, Chandler Cabinets. Chandler Cabinets, 40 years of excellence. Are you looking to build that dream home or barn-dough? CS Designs offers a complete range of design services. CS Designs products range from general drawing services to commercial and residential blueprints, as well as 3D renderings and virtual reality walkthroughs. Let Cole Stewart and the CS Design team design you a beautiful progressive home or building that translates your ideas into an outstanding reality. Visit their website at csdesignstx.com or give them a call at 940-365-4048.
And the kickoff can't be fielded by Gage Anderson and rolls out of bounds at the Bearcat 11. I don't think Gage Anderson ever touched it, which should be a flag. I guess the referee's going to gauge that number 7 did touch it. Yeah, so they're going to mark the ball at the Bearcat 11, so not getting a break there that it was much needed. I'm pretty sure that Gage missed it totally. I don't think he touched it.
Yeah, I thought so too. The head official looked over to the side judge and kind of pointed at his wrist, like, did it hit his wrist? And he said yes. So they marked it back around the 10. So we're in bad field position again.
Yep. So if you're trying to start finding a sliver of good things that have happened so far, is if Crew Chandler brings that ball in, Pilot Point probably does get on the board on the last drive, but they're gonna have to find something here. Ish Harris breaks a tackle, tries to spin out to make more happen, ends up losing a yard back to the 10, and gonna be behind the chains here after first down.
Yeah, there was nothing going between the tackles. He tried to spin out of it, and they just corralled him. Again, if he breaks one last tackle and kind of hits that thing outside, he's got some room to run. We just haven't seen a breakaway yet from Ish.
Early definitely committing 2 defenders over here to cover Aiden Cox. Snap low through Wyatt Smith's legs, and before he even get to it, goes out of the back of the end zone. That's going to be 2 points for the Longhorns. 22-0 Longhorns. 6:55 left in the first quarter.
Wow.
We're going to go to a commercial and come back for the punt after this.
Hey Bearcat fans, living in North Texas, you know all about bad weather. When bad weather does strike, look no further than James Floyd's Custom Roofing and Construction. Custom Roofing and Construction has built their business off of quality work and customer referrals. Let their friendly and knowledgeable staff ensure the project runs smoothly from start to finish. You can visit Custom Roofing and Construction on their website, customroofingdallas.com, or give them a call at 214-274-8353.
And we're back here, going to go straight to a Pilot Point feed out-of-town scoreboard.
Yeah, Ron, in the other District 3, District 4 matchups, Jim Ned, the number 1 seed, is up 35-0 over Peaster with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. And then Whitesboro is up on Breckenridge 22-0, the opposite of what we're dealing with here with 3 minutes 48 left in the first quarter on that Whitesboro game.
Well, everything going right for the Longhorns here, and they're going to get the ball. So, Coach David's trying to rally the troops there on the sideline, and this is kind of, games aren't over. You don't win games in the first quarter, but man, you can certainly dig yourself a big enough hole that it's going to be hard to dig out of. And if Pilot Point doesn't find something here, that could be what we're seeing.
Yeah, he's obviously sending a message to the entire team. He's got them all huddled up at the 20-yard line before we punt this back to early, and he's delivering a message.
Oh yeah, and Coach David has had an excellent year. Coach Schwartz called me today to let me know that Coach David has been named a finalist for the Tom Landry Coach of the Year award by the Landry Foundation and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So he's one of 5 coaches here that have been nominated for that. He's along with head coach at Woodrow Wilson, McKinney Boyd, Cedar Hill, Colleyville Heritage. So a lot of big schools there, and then Pilot Point. So Coach David, like I said, a finalist for the Tom Landry Coach of the Year by the Tom Landry Foundation and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I believe we have an uppercut granted timeout here by Coach David he wasn't done.
He's still delivering the message.
Yeah,
and I hope the players are receiving it.
I was wanting to see how close Chance was to that down there, but I see him down at the 25. So no, not gotten you. I see you down there, but Bearcats are still in the huddle there. Early has come out. I wonder how many timeouts you can take in a row.
This is the longest huddle.
And here they come. So, I don't know in high school if they actually make them punt this. It looks like the referee's holding the ball. So, I know obviously after a safety it's a punt, but sometimes high school and college they let them do a little different things. But there's no T out there. Elias Alejos looks like he's coming out. So that would lend me to believe that he has a T in his hand.
Elias go grab a T.
All right, there you go. Got you in there. Yeah, so in high school, it is marked back. They normally kick it from the 30 or from the 40. This is going to be punted from the 20. So, Early looking to get good field position after this, I'm sure. A lot of green grass here along the numbers for the kickoff return team from Early. So, Pilot Point's just going to try to kick it deep. And it's going to be fielded and returned. And got to make a tackle. Going to break, contain, get up across the 50. Finally going to bring him down at the Bearcat 42-yard line. Is that number 4 again?
That's John Stewart Gordon again. He's having a day. It's a nice little return by him. He's got some moves. Yep.
So the Pilot Point Bearcat defense is going to have to dig deep and find something here.
Yeah, the one thing I saw about number 4 on film, Ryan, is that man, he runs with all he's got. You're not gonna bring him down with an arm tackle, even though he's not the biggest guy.
Trips right, one receiver split way out wide left, one-on-one coverage out there, and they're going to run the ball Trey Beam, and Trey Beam is going to be taken down by Eddie Gatan at the line of scrimmage. No gain there. Looked like he was hitting the hole with some tempo. Big Eddie Gatan was able to bring him down.
Yeah, it was a great job by Eddie Gatan getting down the line and making that play on Trey Beam, because like I said, Trey Beam is a heck of a running back with over 1,100 yards on the season, and I'm sure we're going to get a steady dose of him the rest of this game.
So they're going to go again, trips right, one receiver left. Still split out pretty wide. They're going to jet sweep motion right to left. Going to balance the formation. Snap, drop straight back to pass. They're going to throw a flat route. Man, the quarterback, Jackson Price, can deliver the ball.
Sure can.
Goes to number 4, John Stewart Gordon there for a moderate gain there on second down. But, man, he lets that thing go, and it's a cannon.
Yeah, not really much chance for our pass rush to get back there. He just delivered it on time.
Yep, so, that we've only brought pressure once, but we've really feasted on a lot of quarterbacks this year who on pass-heavy offenses. But they've been so, the tempo of the passing game has been really, really good so far here for the early Longhorns.
Yeah,
now.
Really quick, deliberate routes that they're running.
It's hard to see the flags come out on the field from way up here. There was a flag there on the early Longhorns. So instead of 3rd and 6, it's going to be 2nd and 15 here.
Going to watch the hard count.
I wonder what those penalties are, because they're backing them up 5 yards after the play. That means it's some sort of alignment issue, something like that. Snap, looking left to throw the ball. They're going to throw it out in the flat. Miscommunication there by Beam and Price. Pressure by the Bearcats is going to force a 3rd and 15.
Yeah, that time Jackson Price had to double clutch that, so we got him off rhythm a little bit there.
Some big linemen down there for early. Normally your center's not the biggest guy on your line, but definitely got a big boy down there snapping the ball. Chris Crawford, he was a captain for early Longhorns tonight.
And we could use an Ish Harris pick 6 right here, something fierce.
Yep, trips left here for the Longhorns. One receiver right, Trey Beam to Jackson Price's right. He's going to drop straight back to pass, and it's going to be thrown to nobody. Pressure starting to get to Price a little, allows him to release that one early. He's going to set up a 4th and 15. That looked to be Ryan Riney applying the pressure there for the Bearcats. And we're going to see the first early Longhorn punt of the night, and that's the first, I think, positive thing we've seen from this Bearcat team so far.
Yep. And good job by Steven Rodas. It looked like he was in the right place at the right time. Almost had an interception there.
Yep, let's see if we can get Aiden Cox a chance here. Get his hand on it. They're going to punt it, and it's not going to be able to be fielded by anybody. He's going to take in a Longhorn bounce inside the Bearcat 10, down to the 8, down to the 7, down to the 6. And Pilot Point, after their first defensive stop of the game, is going to take possession of the ball at their own 6 when we come back.
Established in 2004, Ernesto's Fine Mexican Food has continued preserving its original home-style cooking and hospitable touch. Ernesto's family has roots in Mexico as well as Texas ties. Relying on those roots, Ernesto created his unique menu. Offering a variety of Tex-Mex favorites as well as Mexican specialties, Ernesto's won't let you down. So join them for home cooking, or as they say, Comida Cesar, in family-style service. Located at 10279 Farm Market 455 East, Suite 100, or at the corner of 455 and Highway 377 in Pilot Point. They look forward to seeing you, and go Bearcats.
First play of the Bearcat drive is a run up the middle for Ish Harris. One thing that didn't dawn on me till right now, John, we've seen a lot of high snaps this year from the Bearcats. That last one was low.
And the first one really to get away from us that far. Quarterbacks have done a great job of keeping that in front of them or fielding it off a bounce. That one time that Wyatt fielded one off the bounce and made a great throw.
Yeah, second down, Ish Harris carry right side, going to get 1 yard. So it's going to be 3rd and 5 here. Line to gain is going to be the 17-yard line here for the Bearcats.
Haven't found our rhythm offensively. We need an Aiden Cox big play.
That's something we do need right now. We've talked about this year, the offense has been a bit more methodical as opposed to last year. It was explosive. And when you start drives deep in your own field position, that makes it for hard drives when you run lots of plays. We're going to pull this one out, roll out right. Colin Lynch is going to catch it in the flat. Ooh. And they put the helmet on the ball, and they're not going to rule that a fumble.
Yeah, it looks
they
like
rule it a fumble.
And a recovery for a touchdown.
Oh my! And they don't review things here. This is high school football. They're not even discussing it. They're not even having the discussion. Oh, and things just went from bad to worse.
Sure did. Looked like as soon as he caught the ball, they put a helmet on football and popped it out. It could have been ruled incomplete for sure.
Oh, man. So, yep, we got Colin Lynch out in the flat. As soon as he gets his hands on the ball, not even really able to turn his head, turn his body or anything, they come and put the helmet on him, knocks the ball out incomplete, but but they rule it a fumble, and Early takes it back for their second defensive touchdown. Nick's Italian PAT is good. 3:54 left in the first quarter. Early 29, Bearcats 0.
Fit Body Gym in Aubrey, Texas, owned by Mike and Becky Phillips, is your one-stop shop for all your fitness needs. At Fit Body Gym, we specialize in one-on-one training, small group training, and sport-specific training for people of all ages. We work hard to get you the results you need, whether that be weight loss, toning, building muscle, or just wanting to live a healthier lifestyle. Stop by Fit Body Gym today, located at 106 North Highway 377, or call 972-768-9994.
Well, that was a tough one there, like I said. So, in the NFL and college game, as a referee, there's not as much pressure to get that call right. You let it go, see what happens, and then you go back and you review it and you say, okay, no, it was incomplete. The pressure in a high school game is so much greater because you have to get it right.
Absolutely, you do.
And if it's even close, like that was... Your brain tells you that's incomplete. You got to call it incomplete. In college, your brain may say, oh, it looked incomplete, but we got to let it play on. So they switch Gage Anderson and Aiden Cox on the kickoff return here, and Early sees it, and they just sail this one into the end zone for a touchback. So, like I said, the importance of high school referees, you have to get the call right. And like I said, when your brain tells you pretty obviously that is incomplete, you got to call it incomplete. You can't just let it carry on and see what happens.
Yeah, and I saw the head official on the goal line just kind of looking around. He was very slow in calling that a touchdown. He was looking for somebody to override him. But what was the most surprising to me, kind of what you just talked about, is I expected after that the referees to get together and say, hey, let's talk about it. And no, they just started marking it for a point after attempt. So Bearcats are going to have to dig deep here just to try to make something out of this. Trips left. Handoff. No, Wyatt Smith's going to keep it at the back end, and he's going to get out to about the 30-yard line, so it's going to be 5 yards on first down. Yeah, that was a real good fake to Gage Anderson, and Wyatt did his patented put it back in his pocket and take off.
Effective run there on first down, getting us ahead of the chains. So we're still in the first quarter here. So I mean, there's lots of time. Jet sweep motion left to right. Ish Harris going to catch it, and he's going to try to turn it up, and he's going to get about 4 yards on it. 3 yards. Going to set up a 3rd and 2. Line to gain will be the 35.
Yep, and every possession is paramount now. We need to start getting some points on the board.
Yeah, and
ridiculous.
You want to start seeing some urgency, not necessarily because of the time. There's over 3 quarters left, but urgency as like this is important. We got to get going. We got to get going now. Wyatt Smith looking to pass, and he's going to hit Aiden Cox out in the flat. Aiden Cox breaks a few tackles, and Aiden Cox has it quick. He's going to get it down inside the 20 before he's brought down at the 15-yard line. Huge play, a little 4-yard curl route turns into a giant gain by Aiden Cox and a Eric Real Estate first down, getting down into the point bank red zone. And when he gets his hands on the ball, he is so hard to tackle, and he does an excellent job of spinning out of Gordon's tackle, stiff arming another guy and getting down the sideline. Luckily, they had big number 88 there. Vic Cooper was able to cut him off with the angle.
6'4" senior defensive back. You don't see Aiden Cox getting run down very often.
No. Ish Harris catches a swing pass, picks up a block, spins out of a tackle, tries to sidestep another, is going to get inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line. So we're in the point bank red zone here. Have an opportunity to get in the end zone here, and if we can do that, we'll see if this can awaken this Bearcat team.
Yeah, really nice block there by Crew Chandler. They wanted a penalty on it, but it was for naught. It was just good blocking by Crew Chandler.
Ball on the left hash, 2 receivers left, 2 right. Wyatt Smith's going to roll out right to pass. Going to throw the ball in the back corner to Aiden Cox. Goes up, just not on the same page there. Had a chance to make a play on it, but he had a lot of adjusting he had to do to get a hand on that ball.
Yeah, had to turn his body around the other direction to try to get a paw on it. It just didn't work out. If he would have put it a little bit more towards the sideline, I think Aiden comes down with that.
Well, yeah, Aiden ran his route towards the front pylon. It looked like the ball was thrown more of a corner to the back pylon there. And I see the officials are still going to spot the ball. Is there anything that I missed?
Yeah.
a flag on the Bearcats of some sort, and this is a big one. I don't know what it is. 15-yard variety.
Post and chop or something, I think.
Oh, man. I mean, you get some momentum. You get down inside the 10, and now you have a 15-yard penalty that backs you up.
Can't buy a break.
Now I'm down to the 23-yard line.
That was a personal foul, is what he said.
Oh, my gosh. Jet sweep motion left to right. Wyatt Smith back to pass. Another false start on the Bearcats here. So just as you thought you started to get some life, shoot yourself in the foot. Any idea what the personal foul was? Because I didn't see anything.
No, I'm like you guys. I didn't see anything. I just saw him start marching it off.
My goodness. Well, we're going to have to dig deep into the bag of trips here. Ish Harris in the slot over here trying to get the call. 2 receivers right, 2 left. Motion left to right. Wyatt Smith draws straight back to pass, being pressured, and it's intercepted. So looked like it was going to be a screen of some sort. Heavy pressure off the left side. Wyatt Smith hit as he's throwing it, and it just floats up in the air. Intercepted at the line of scrimmage for the Longhorn defensive lineman. And Early's going to get the ball at their own 36-yard line.
Yeah, and that was Trey Beam, number 3, the running back / outside linebacker that brought that pressure. Ryan talked about it in the pregame show. He's got 8 hurries and 19 tackles for losses and 6 sacks on the season. Man, he was in our backfield in a hurry.
Looked like Chris Fernandez, number 65, I believe, is the one who come down with that interception.
Yeah, it's going from bad to worse.
Yeah, you get down inside the 10, you think, okay, finally going to get on the scoreboard here. And personal foul, false start, interception. Early's, 29-0, and we're still in the first quarter here.
Amazing.
And we get an uppercut granted timeout on the early Longhorns, which is going to send us to break.
Do you need a maintenance check or emergency repair on a heating or cooling unit? Fowler Air is available to handle all of your heating, cooling, and ventilation needs. Fowler Air will work with you to find an HVAC solution that fits your needs by providing you with a full consultation, explaining all your available options so that you can choose the system that's right for your home or business. Give Fowler Air a call today at 817-487-2286 and schedule your service. That's Fowler Air, 817-487-2286.
Well, Early, I guess, didn't like their alignment or didn't get all on the same page there, so they called their first timeout of the half, and they're coming back out getting ready here. So they have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 36, and it's just their night so far, man. Anything and everything they've decided to try has gone right, and it's the exact opposite for the Bearcats. Anything and everything they've tried has gone wrong. Trey Beam's going to get this run, and it's going to be a huge run for the Longhorns, and he is going to eventually be slung down by Ish Harris. Well, not really. He stays on his feet. A host of other Bearcats jump on his back and bring him down at the Bearcat 37-yard line. And Pilot Point coaches are just yelling at the official down there. I guess they saw something.
Hey, Ryan, that was a chop block, the personal foul.
Oh, the one on us or the one we just missed?
The one on us. Yes,
okay.
Sir, the one on us.
Trey Bean limping off to the sideline. It looks like he's turned ankle or something, but he looks like he'll be fine. He's not even getting medical attention over there. Just needed a breather after that tough run there.
It looks like they brought in their backup running back, number 33, Frankie Villarreal.
Well, they're going to give it to Villarreal right away, and he's tough to tackle too. Colin Lynch is a perfect form tackle. Curly Brockman had him wrapped up initially, and Colin Lynch comes in there and helps finish the job. No gain on that first down carry for the Longhorns. Under a minute left in the first quarter, brought to you by Ernesto's Mexican Restaurant.
Yeah, and Villarreal doesn't look like he's got the straight line speed that Trey Beam has, so that's good news for the Bearcats.
Yep, these jerseys kind of remind me a little bit of what Auburn's rocking, of different colors a little, but I think they're Under Armour as well. See the emblem. Nice look from the Longhorns. 2nd and 10, drop back to pass, steps up into a pocket. Oh, that ball's knocked out. Fumble. That's a fumble. No!
They called it incomplete.
You've got it. Oh, man,
everything's going their way.
Everything's going Early's way. That ball, earlier and what was pretty obvious was an incompletion. They rule a fumble. This one, pretty obvious it's a fumble. Rule it incompletion. They say his hand was going forward. The ball was 10 feet above his head before his hand started moving forward. It's going to set up a 3rd and 10 for the Longhorns.
Man, It's been a tough night for the Bearcats so far.
Yeah, well, if these Longhorns are anything like the University of Texas, they'll find a way to blow this lead.
Let's
just cross our fingers.
Try to stay close, boys.
We'll run up the middle. Aiden Cox can't bring him down, but they finally do bring him down after, well, they needed 15 on 3rd and 15. They got 14. So this is probably going to take us to the end of the first quarter, but we come back, or they're going They're going quick. 4th and 1.
They snap it.
5 seconds left in the quarter. Might try to get the Bearcats on the hard count. They can't get them on the hard count, which is going to take us to the end of the first quarter. At the end of the Ernesto's Mexican Restaurant first quarter, early 29. Bearcats 0 with early on a 4th and 1.
Since 1983, the Scott Walker Insurance Agency has been covering the insurance needs of Pilot Point. Regardless of what that need may be, they have you covered, offering homeowners, auto, life, farm and ranch, and commercial. Give them a call at 940-686-2692. That's Germania Insurance, the Scott Walker Insurance Agency, located just north of the town square at 211 Scott Lane in Pilot Point, Texas. Scott Walker Insurance Agency, always there to help.
And we're back here to start the second quarter. Already got the still shot of the what should have been fumble on the attempted pass, and it's clear as day that it was ball was out before Jackson Price's hand starts moving forward. So, earlier in the game, the referees let it play out. Later on in the game, they don't. And, that just seems to be... I don't want to sit here and paint this picture that Early's just getting every benefit from the officials. They've come out of the gate throwing haymakers, and they're landing every one of them.
Yeah, they're playing well.
But we haven't caught any breaks either, man. They seem to be getting every break if there's a break.
We need this one right here on 4th and short.
So 4th and 1, hard count. Bearcats get a good jump off the line, and they might have made the stop. They did. So they got an excellent jump on the snap count, forcing a stop on 4th and 1. So they are going to get the ball here at their own 30-yard line, and they had something going on the last drive where they shot themselves in the foot. Let's see what they can do here.
Yeah, let's have this second quarter go in the Bearcats' favor like that first quarter did for the Longhorns. Jeez.
Yep.
We're off to a good start.
Well, Bearcats going to get the ball. 1st and 10 at their own 30. Bringing in kind of this bunch, new formation here, kind of a bunch right formation. Snap. Gage Anderson's going to get a carry. He's going to have a hole, dragging a man. He's going to get an Irish real estate first down out to the 41-yard line. Hit the hole with some speed. And wouldn't you know it, advanced care penalty holding on the Bearcats. Going to back us up 10.
Golly. Negated a really nice run by Gage Anderson. He got about 7 yards before John Stewart Gordon grabbed his jersey, and he got 3 or 4 after that to get the first down before the penalty. Takes us back.
So what should have been an 11-yard run by the freshman turns into a 10-yard loss. It's not going to be exactly 10 because they're marking it from the spot of the foul, which they're saying must have been a couple yards up the field, because instead of the traditional 1st and 20 on a hold, it's 1st and 16. Bearcats getting aligned here. 2 receivers, or 1 receiver right with Cade Carter, tight end right, 2 receivers left. Gage Anderson next to Wyatt Smith. Crew Chandler motion right to left. Drop back to pass. Wyatt Smith's going to throw it deep. Has Aiden Cox. Aiden Cox catches it. And now one man's got to try to tackle him. And he's going to sling him around, but not until Aiden gets down to the Longhorn 22-yard line. Huge reception there by Aiden Cox. Wyatt Smith had 2 guys there running pretty open. Aiden Cox had 1 guy covering him, which we all know means he's open. Crew Chandler was a few feet to his left with nobody there. Aiden Cox comes down with the catch, and he gets a huge gain there. That's a Bearcat Nutrition and big play for the Bearcats.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that Early's not switching 4 and 2 and having 4 cover Aiden the entire time.
Yeah. Gage Anderson going to get this carry up the middle. He's going to get from the 22 down to about the 19-yard line. So just like the last drive, the Bearcat offense showing some life. This time we were able to overcome 1 penalty. But we'll continue to see how this drive goes. It doesn't, having good drives doesn't matter if they result in 0 points.
Yeah, and another difference is, those 2 long catches by Aiden have gone to the house traditionally this season, but these guys have made tackles.
Yep. Wyatt Smith, drop back to pass, steps up into a pocket. Crew Chandler, this time, Gordon, your guy there, you call John Stewart Gordon, in great coverage. Doesn't allow Crew Chandler to make the catch there.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
Yeah, I like us
These
going
flags
to
are the color of the turf.
Yeah, this turf is real worn. I can't. It's hard seeing from up here. I think it's sitting on the 20, but I'm not entirely sure. There's the yellow. Maybe it's a mix of the yellow from the flags, not as yellow as it should be. The green of the grass isn't as green as it should be. A lot of discussion. Got a personal foul, hands to the face on the defense. Pilot Point catches a break with that advanced care penalty. Going to give us an automatic first down. Get the chains moved here, but Pilot Point's going to have it marched from inside the 20, so we were in the point bank red zone again. We're going to have it first and goal, right at the 10-yard line. It's the worst end goal to go you can have, right from the pretty much the nose of the football's touching the 10.
Longest 10 yards right here.
Yeah, field is condensed. If you're not running the football well, this is a hard area to move the football. Wyatt Smith in the backfield.
I like
Gage
Aiden up
Anderson. Wyatt Smith's going to keep it. He's going to zigzag up the middle, and he's going to get down to the 5. And apparently, looking over there, I think Early only run 2 guys out to cover Cade Carter and Aiden Cox. Didn't recognize it, but 5 yards on the first down carry.
Yeah, like I said, I like the matchup on that far side with Aiden on number 2 instead of John Gordon down here on the near side.
Yep, this time everybody's accounted for. We're going to roll out towards Aiden in the end zone.
He got him.
Good route, good throw, good catch. Aiden Cox with a Pelsel printing touchdown. 9:58 to go in the Maverick Fastener second quarter. The Bearcats get on the board. So, this isn't the sign of a comeback or anything, but we've made a stop. We've had 2 consecutive stops on defense.
It's got to start somewhere, right?
2 consecutive good drives on offense. Unfortunately, the first one didn't result in points. This one did, however. And the Elias Alejos Nick Italian PAT snap, hold, the kick is up, and it is high, and it is good. 9:58 left in the Maverick Faster second quarter. Early 29, Pilot Point 7.
Hello, Pilot Point, Texas. This is Pastor Dwayne Edwards at Grace Point Nazarene Church right here in Pilot Point. I want to invite all of you to come out and join us this Sunday, 10 a.m., right at 611 East Liberty. You can also join us on Facebook Live. Just go to Grace Point Nazarene Church. We start right at 10 a.m. We have ministries for the entire family, and if you want to find out more about us, just simply go to gracepointnaz.net. Again, that's gracepointnaz.net. God bless you, and go Bearcats!
And we're getting ready for the Southern Junkies kickoff here. Going to be teed up at the 40. Elias, the one thing I noticed on the last kickoff the Bearcats had, which was the only one they've had to open the game, a lot of green grass down the numbers. Early doesn't get anybody on one side of the return even to the numbers. I mean, they're on this early sideline. The closest guy is 20 yards from the sideline, but this is going to be kicked deep and caught at the 13 for a return by Gordon. He's going to tiptoe up the Bearcat sideline before he's finally tackled at the early 28-yard line, setting up a 1st and 10 for the Longhorns. So, like I said, that's something second half adjustments I'd like to maybe see from the Bearcats because, you need extra possessions and, you need turnovers, which you almost got on the last drive, but the officials blew the whistle early. You need to try to find ways to get the ball. And you might see there's a lot of green grass over here. Might try to target that at some point in this game.
Absolutely.
Going to be a run up the middle for Trey Beam, and not a whole lot of room there. Curly Brockman. Looks like Gavin Wheeler.
Curly was trying to pull the ball out. We could use a turnover for sure.
I think Gavin Wheeler. Eddie Gatan, I think, was plugging up the hole. Allowed the slow down of Trey Beam, and Curly Brockman and Gavin Wheeler finished it off. So it's going to be 2nd and 8 here for the Longhorns. Ball's at the 30-yard line. Motioning to make it trips left, drops straight back to Passer Price. Swing pass, and you can't run swing pass on this Bearcat defense. The Dakota David this time. It's not Aiden Cox. Dakota David gets up, knocks it down, and you're starting to see a little bit of this confidence return from this Bearcat team. So they're starting to feel themselves a little. 2 consecutive stops. Go ahead.
I don't want to take anything away from Dakota, but it was Aaron Stripmatter.
Oh, it was? I thought I saw it.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
well, hey, that's why I'm glad you have a mic down there.
If Dakota got up that high, That would have been really awesome.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm glad you're down there with a mic, because I'm seeing it as it's happening, trying to go back afterwards and see.
Dakota
who
was
did
in good position, regardless.
Yep, 3rd and 8 here. Trips left for the Longhorns. False start. Are they going to blow? They do. Okay. Receiver on the Bearcat sideline. False starts there, and man, the Bearcat coaches weren't going to let the guy miss that one.
Absolutely not. We've got to have everything we can get at this point.
Yep, so it's going to go from 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 13 here. Line to gain is going to be the 38-yard line of the Longhorns. 9:09. Well, I don't know. 9:07. No, why is the clock running? Last play was an incomplete pass.
Yeah, that's strange.
So the clock is running. The last play was an incomplete pass. Drop back to pass. Jackson Price steps up into a dirty pocket, and he's sacked. Gavin Wheeler. That's something that needs to be pointed out, though, for a little later on. I mean, we're down quite a bit. We need every second we can get. The clock was stopped due to an incompletion. And I'll look up. I don't know how much time ran off. Chance, did you see that down there?
You're right. I hadn't noticed it till you said, but it's too late now. But it was at 9:06 and got down to about 9 minutes, and who knows how long it was running beforehand.
Yeah, that's when I noticed it. Yeah, I mean, that is a mistake by the clock operators. So it's going to be 4th and long here, early going to punt. And last punt was a good one. This one is decent as well. Last one was so good because it took a good Longhorn bounce. This one not as good. Bearcats are going to get the ball when we come back at the 50-yard line.
Russell Pelzel with Hometown Pharmacy has built a reputation on providing only excellent service and support to the Pilot Point community. You can depend on Hometown Pharmacy to deliver the best customer service along with a selection of quality healthcare products. When you use Hometown Pharmacy, you will work with a knowledgeable and understanding staff who will help you find the right products and solutions tailored to fit your lifestyle, as well as equipment that will integrate into your daily life. Contact Hometown Pharmacy at 940-686-0123.
First play of the Bearcat drive is a Gage Anderson run right up the middle, and it's going to be brought down after 1 yard by number 24, Caleb McCullough. Bearcats going to have 2nd and 9 from in early Longhorn territory. Starting to feel the momentum shift a little here. The Bearcat defense finding themselves. If they can get it in the end zone, you can start to see a path. Pitch to Ish Harris, and he's going to have a little bit of a lane to run through. And it's going to slow down, trying to make more of it. He's only going to get about 3 yards on the play. Going to set up a 3rd and 6 here. Ball's at the Longhorn 46. The line to gain is the 40. Sometimes he hits that hole with some space, and instead of just sticking his head down and trying to maximize what he's given, he tries to make more out of it. And sometimes, he's a playmaker. Sometimes he does make it huge plays, but sometimes he leaves some of those yards on the table. I feel like that was one of those plays right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
3rd and 6 here for the Bearcats.
With the bunch formation.
Snap, rolling out left. And we're going to throw, and we're going to hit Cade Carter running a deep cross, and he's caught it, and that's an IRC Real Estate first down. Cade Carter, major emergence last week in the passing game, and there he goes, a big 3rd down catch and a Pilot Point first down.
Yeah, last few games he's had some key receptions, especially on third down, and that was another one there.
Yep.
And one thing to note, Ryan, is that it looks like early so far they're not switching their cornerbacks. Number 4 stays on this side. Number 2 stays on that side.
We also got lucky there. He fumbled it out of bounds.
I thought I saw it squirt out.
Gage Anderson carry, trying to find some space up the middle. Tough run, about a yard on the carry. Yeah, they talked about it on the CNS postgame show, or, Brock recap, that last week Cade Carter had 4 catches, and they all seemed to be like 3rd down catches to move the chains or something, or impactful catches. So
exactly.
His first catch tonight was obviously a very impactful catch on 3rd and 6, moving the chains.
You got a receiver like Aiden Cox that kind of opens it up for the other guys.
Yep, so Aiden Cox split down here, far receiver on the trips right side, receiver right. We're going to look that way, and we're going to throw it to Aiden Cox. Going to catch it. Stutter step, freezes everybody, gets it inside. Going to get down to the 29-yard line of the early Longhorns. Going to set up a 3rd and about 2 yards. Line to gain is going to be the 27-yard line. They have it marked on the 29 on the right hash here.
Both Gage and Ish in the game. Looks like Ish is going to stay at slot receiver.
That's what they've been doing a lot tonight, is slot receiver, wing back for Ish Harris, giving Gage Anderson, who I don't believe had any carries last week, giving him some carries this week. And they're going to roll out. Gage Anderson makes a great block and pass protection. And Aiden, that's definitely pass interference that they're not calling right there. So John Stewart Gordon was on top of Aiden Cox's back while Aiden Cox was trying to make the catch. And ultimately couldn't bring it down because of it. But incomplete. 4th and 2 here for the Bearcats. And they need this conversion here.
Yeah, something fierce. We got to have it. Got to keep the chains moving.
Hard count, can't get the Longhorns to jump. Looking over to get a check here. A lot of plays we see Wyatt Smith keep this coming out the backside. See what they want to do here. Good run front here. They're going to look to pass. Oh, man, great timing. Crew Chandler out there. I kind of held my breath when he let go of it because Crew Chandler was still in his route, wasn't even looking. But that's just the sign of a well-timed route. Wyatt Smith gets rid of it before he's even broken his route. He breaks, looks, the ball hits him right in the chest, first down.
Yeah, great job by Wyatt Smith delivering that ball.
What confidence there, too. You had a big drop earlier, go to you on 4th down, and you bring it in. Snap. This is going to be a carry for Gage Anderson. Breaks the first tackle. Going to get inside the red zone down to about the 16-yard line of the Longhorns. Pilot Point starting to find some rhythm on offense. Taking the clock down on this drive. But you know what? We've got to get in the end zone here. Cut it to 29-14. We got to finish this drive here.
Sure do. And Gage and Frankie Villarreal, number 33, are having some battles. Gage cut block him earlier on the pass block, and then Frankie made the tackle on that one.
Yeah, cutting the splits down a little, or the receivers rolling out left. Gonna throw it to Ish Harris in the flat. He's going to catch it and spin out of a would-be tackler, get it down, make it another 3rd and short here. 3rd and about 2 from the 13-yard line. Line to gain is going to be the 11.
This early defense is making it difficult, but Bearcats they're moving the ball.
Yeah, Aiden Cox and Ish Harris were on that side together. Coaches got them to shorten their splits up from the line of scrimmage, which allowed Ish to run an effective out route there, bring in the ball, setting up a 3rd and short. Once again, a bunch right formation here. This is a new formation this week. Snap, drop straight back to pass for Wyatt Smith. Pressured, steps up, throws it away. Ball clearly hit the ground. We didn't have to ride the receiver down.
No, Wyatt was kind of in the grass there as he was throwing it. Couldn't get enough on it.
Yeah, luckily to get it away, so kept it 4th and 2 as opposed to 4th and 7 or 8 if he doesn't get rid of that one.
Another big play in this drive right here.
Yep, another 4th and short, kind of abandoning the run of late. Lots of passes here. It's been effective. The short passing game has been effective of the last couple drives here.
I like Aiden on that far side.
Another big play here, 4th and short, and they're looking that way. Curl route, caught, spins out of a tackle, gets finally tackled inside the 5. Man, that's 1st and goal, inside the 5 and deep in the point blank red zone. You know what? When you got a receiver who's as dominant as him, it always just makes me nervous on 4th and short when you call a route there's literally zero room for error. It's a timing route. You have to throw it before he comes out of his break. Receiver has to break at the right time, find it. But when you have it, you have it. And they got it right there for a 1st down. Wyatt Smith, low snap, gets through his legs, and just falls to it. So all year, we've had a problem with the snap being a little high. All of a sudden this week, the snap's low, and the snaps, when they've been high, they've been about face mask high, which has allowed the quarterbacks to field them. The ones that squeeze through their legs, those are the tough ones for them.
Yeah, Wyatt had no choice there but to just fall on it.
Yep. So, looking over to get the calls. What was 1st and goal from the 2 has now turned into 2nd and goal from the 10.
Yep, got to overcome that 1st down play.
Yep, well, they're definitely shading Aiden Cox over on the top of the formation. Snap, and we're going to hand it to Ish Harris. He's going to stutter step left, and he's only going to be able to get down to about the 7-yard line. So about 3 yards there on that 2nd down carry. First time he's been in the backfield at running back in quite a while.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like he can get out of 2nd gear so far in this game.
Not a lot of space for him. That little jet sweep, we called it Memphis back in the day, that jet sweep run. He's had a little bit of room on that, but once you get into the hole, he's looking to make the big play, and sometimes it's just like got to accelerate through it and take what they're giving you. Looks like we're going to get an Uppercut Granite timeout on the early Longhorns. We'll get a commercial and come right back.
Independent Financial offers big bank benefits with a hometown feel. Their personalized financial solutions can help turn life's challenges into new opportunities. Independent's business banking is powered for growth, and they support innovation and new ideas. Independent Bank's digital convenience allows you to bank how, when, and where you want. Independent Financial is the premier regional bank with 90-plus locations across Texas and Colorado. Independent Financial. Visit them at ifinancial.com. Independent Financial is a trademark of Independent Bank, member FDIC.
And we're back here getting ready for this big 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. Run these timing routes that have been good, but I think, early in the game, they got away from shadowing Aiden Cox the way that they were when the game first started. They kind of started shying away from that. Well, in the last couple of drives, Aiden Cox has really eaten them up. So they've gone back to kind of running 2 guys wherever he's going. Got Vic Cooper running and helping out whatever corner's going to be covering him. They're putting him on the wide side here, and they're going to roll out, and then Wyatt Smith's just going to have to throw it away. He's out of the tackle box, but I don't know if he has to. If he has to get it back to the line of scrimmage, he did not, which means that's going to be an intentional grounding back at the 24. Referees are going to confer on it and see what they call. He was definitely out of the tackle box.
Right. Well, he just couldn't get enough. He was in the grass, so he couldn't get enough on it to try to get it to the line of scrimmage.
They're throwing
So
the flag.
Yep.
So I think the rule is you have to get out of the tackle box and get it back to the line of scrimmage, or there has to be somebody just in the vicinity, and then it doesn't really matter if. So that's a killer. That's going to back us way up and set an Elias Alejos field goal attempt here. It's going to be set up at the 21, which is going to make this about a 38-yarder once it's all said and done here. Ball's placed at the 31. They're getting it teed up at the 28-yard line. 38 yards from the right hash for the left-footed kicker.
This is big if we can get it.
Yeah, got to get the points here. Got to get the points. Snap, the hold, the kick is up, and it is not going to be far enough. We definitely had some motion up front. I was hoping to get them come across the line early. They're not giving the call, and that's going to be a turnover on downs after the missed field goal for the Bearcats. We're going to get one commercial and come back.
I'm Chance Kirby, the broker at Irick Real Estate. Don't let just anyone handle the single largest investment that your family may ever make. Trust that process to a local office that knows the area and will handle your transaction ethically and responsibly. You can find Irick Real Estate at pilotpoint.com or feel free to call me directly at 940-300-6900. Irick Real Estate, serving the area since 1952.
First play of the Longhorn drive is a tough run by Train Beam for only about 2 yards on the carry. So, man, not capitalizing deep in the red zone has really been, a lot of things going wrong, but we've had the goal to go inside the 5 twice so far with 0 and without scoring touchdowns, and that's the difference between the game being 29-7 and 29-21. Imagine after going down 29-0 in the first quarter, having this being a 29-21 game right now.
It'd be a heck of a turnaround.
You get the ball to start the second half. I mean, it's big. Run here, left side, stiff arm. Oh, Curly Brockman holds on and is just able to get him down. He had to put everything he had into getting him down there, and he did. We have a minute 28 left in the Maverick Faster second quarter. That was a run on the left side for it looked to be number 33, Villarreal, and trying to stiff arm Curly Brockman. Curly Brockman held on for dear life and eventually was able to get him down. After
it's good one-on-one tackle, because if he didn't at least slow him down, man, Villarreal had some room to run.
Yeah, if he didn't slow him down, he goes for a touchdown. But even if he doesn't get him down there, I think he ultimately the Bearcats jump on his back. But Curly did finish it. Pass going deep down the sideline. Number 7 just can't bring it in. Cedric Moreland for the Longhorns had created some space between him and Crew Chandler, but couldn't bring it in. And it's going to set up a 2nd and 10 with a minute 4 left in the first quarter, or the first half. Pick 6 or something, some sort of defensive score before the half here for the Bearcats would be just massive.
Yeah, it'd be monumental.
Can't get out of my head the 2 goal-to-go situations inside the 5 and how much different this game would look right now after that awful start.
Yeah, it's just the little things.
Run up the middle. I think Early is afraid of letting anything crazy happen. Big Gavin Wheeler causing havoc. No gain on the play, going to set up a 3rd and 10. Like I said, I think Early feels what's happening. I think they might be feeling the tides turn a little, but they still have a huge lead, so I think that they're going to go into this half conservatively and not try to give the Bearcats any unnecessary momentum. Just hand the ball off. The Bearcats really going to have a hard time creating any momentum off of it.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to see probably Trey Price.
Roll out right. Jackson Price looking to pass, and he's going to throw the ball. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Incomplete. Steven Rodas coming up. Ball, almost intercepted there off of a deflection. But 28 seconds left, set up a 4th and 10. And you have a punt situation with a couple dangerous returners. I don't know what sort of punt block situations we have that we've worked blocking a punt, but man, a big return here, a big punt block, something big from the Bearcats here would be huge into getting the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go to Trey Beam and make us use a timeout there.
The punt snap, the kick is up and it is high, and it's not very far, but it's going to take another good Longhorn bounce. Going to be down at the Bearcat 30 with 17 seconds left. So, not to harp on old stuff, but the clock running earlier really kills us. We got 17 seconds left till half. We're going to ride it out. But, man, so I don't know. Let's say that clock ran
for a minute 30.
Let's say that clock ran for 20 seconds earlier. 37 seconds left and 2 timeouts.
Makes this scenario a lot different.
Makes it different than 17 seconds. Yeah, for sure, I believe. But it's going to be 1st and 10 at their own 30. Bearcats look over the sideline, see what they want to do. They do have timeouts, so, we've had a few interceptions in situations like this, just trying to make something happen. Definitely giving Gordon help over here with Aiden Cox. Snap, drop back to pass. There's some sort of Bearcats are going to call a timeout before the snap is run, so we are going to get a commercial with that and come back for the end of the half.
Enjoy that old-time country feel at the Martin General Store, located in downtown Pilot Point on the historic Pilot Point Square. The best way to describe the general store is it has a little bit of everything, from Circle-y candles to specialty jams, dressings, sauces, home decor, kitchen decor, goat's milk soap, jewelry, a large assortment of old-time candy, nostalgic toys and books, pet toys and treats, greeting cards and gift wrap. She also serves cold drinks, and last but not least, Beth Marie's ice cream. That's Martin General Store, a little bit of everything. Maverick.
And we're coming back here. Just want to point out again here, Bearcats call a timeout before that play begins, but they still run 3 seconds off the clock. That's
17 seconds right now.
I don't look at the clock religiously, but there's been 2 times I've looked at the clock, and the clock operators have messed up both. We need to try to make sure that our coaching staff is aware of the clock situation.
Where's Rocky Marshall when you need him?
Yeah, stepping up, Wyatt Smith looking to pass, throws it deep. Crew Chandler goes up, can't bring it down. I wonder if because that's something that can easily be missed. A few seconds here, a few seconds there. That could be a killer though in the end when you're looking at, you're trying to make a comeback. We already know of about 20, 25 seconds, and that's just the 2 times I happened to look up and realize, hey, wait, the clock shouldn't be running here. 8 seconds left in the Maverick Fasteners second quarter. Longhorns 29, Bearcats 7. Bearcats going to try to make something happen here for the half. Wyatt Smith is just going to be sacked here. And we're going to go into halftime here at Rough Rider Stadium at Saginaw High School. Early up 29-7. Bearcats get the ball to come out in the second half.
Maverick Fasteners is your go-to stocking distributor, carrying a full line of fasteners including bolts, nuts, sockets, screws, washers, pins, keys, hex caps, threaded rod, and other fastener-related products. Maverick Fasteners is centrally located in the U.S., which allows them to ship quickly and consistently worldwide, offering same-day shipping on all orders received by 12 p.m. Central Time. Learn more about Maverick Fasteners at mavfast.com.
Hey Bearcat fans, this is Coach Marsh. I know that whenever practice is over and I get home late, the first place I think of is Nick's Italian. You can go to Nick's Italian or you can call it at 940-686-2520. You get great quality food at a great price, not to mention the friendly services you receive from Nick and his staff. Nick's has been family owned and operated since 2003. You can find the restaurant at 1340 South Highway 377 in Pilot Point, Texas. Support a veteran owned business in Nick's Italian. Call Nick's Italian and they'll take care of you. Go Bearcats.
Curtis. It's time for the District 4 Report, presented to you by Professor Diggs himself, only on PilotPointBearcats.com. Class begins now.
Thank you, as always, for that wonderful, rousing introduction from the studios in Pilot Point, Texas. I am Professor Diggs, here with the 4-3A Report, the first of what hopefully is many playoff editions of the 4-3A report. And you heard last week I mentioned to you that I would be making that trip up 377, and I would go check out the scene up there. And some of my first impressions, and I'm sure this is not a huge surprise for any of you listening to the 4-3A report who live up there, but the way it had me go is it had me take Lake Forest off of 380, take that up to some farm to market road, head on over to Pilot Point, and what really surprised me was how big Salina was. I mean, I was just blown away at how developed Salina was. And you hear reports that Salina is going to be 6A within 4 to 6 years, and they're going to have to build a second high school. But until you see the subdivisions and the rapid growth out there, it's just really hard to believe. Because who's cruising out that way, unless you're going to Pilot Point, which I believe everyone should be going to Pilot Point at some point. But went over to Pilot Point to check out that scene, and we've got to thank our good friends over at Uncle Beto's, who provided some fajitas, some great food. They have they have black beans and white rice and great steak and great grilled onions, and their chips and salsa are to die for. I'd like to thank our friends over at Uncle Beto's for helping us out, or El Beto del Tio, if you will listen to my Duolingo, which if you do, you probably don't want to listen to my Duolingo work, but I know Tio means uncle. But I got over there and got a chance to meet with Coach David and America's favorite assistant coach, Coach Marsh. Got to see our friends from Sideline to Sideline over there, Grant and Terry, always good to see them. Got to see Leighton Prater, the new Denton Record Chronicle guy, who got assigned to that game at the last minute. It really just felt like home. I haven't been to Massey Stadium in probably 10 years. They had a lot of fun over in Pilot Point. And the goal was just to go over there just for a few minutes till about 6:45, make that 18-minute drive north and be in Whitesboro. But 377 was shut down because of what people have said might have been a fatality accident. For those of you who live up there, you might know about this. Definitely don't want to put any sort of don't want to ridicule that or share frustration when somebody's life and a whole family and kind of a network of when somebody dies, how that impacts a community and an area. So I don't want to disrespect that. But I got to do some off-roading off into the Pilot Point suburbs to try to get around that and get over to Tioga. But by the time all of that happened, it was about 6:45. It was about 7:45. It took me about an hour to bypass that accident and get over to Whitesboro. And at that point, Whitesboro was already up 13-0. And what Whitesboro did, what I visually got to see Whitesboro do, was just absolutely incredible. I mean, they really impressed me. More so than I had been expecting. I expected them to beat Peaster, but they were beating Peaster kind of like the way Brock was beating Peaster. And if you go back and look at that game with Whitesboro and Pilot Point and double overtime, and Pilot Point had to do a lot of things right in the second half to make that a game that got into overtime, and then the execution that they had in overtime, and second overtime, to win that game. Just all credit to Pilot Point. But you probably heard me say last week when we were doing our District 4 3A report that the game between Brock and Pilot Point would help me calibrate Jim, Ned, and Brock at 1 and 2, and it would help me calibrate Pilot Point and Bushland at 3 and 4. And ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you, and I'm a little surprised I'm saying this, but I think the eye test is the most important thing you can do. I think Whitesboro is the third best team in this region at this point. Whitesboro just dominated in multiple ways. I liked what they did on defense. I liked the big play offensive capabilities they had. And if you look at them and kind of what they've done all year, they've really flown all under the radar. And Coach Fagan might not be happy to hear me hype up that. I think they kind of like flying under the radar to a certain extent. But if you want my dark horse in this tournament coming up, Whitesboro, I think, might have a chance to make it to the regional final. And if you look at what Whitesboro did against Brock relative to what Pilot Point did against Brock, Whitesboro played Brock better. So, in some ways, this is not a big surprise. And Whitesboro had a great week. Their cross-country team won state. Their band made it third in state. They're very happy. That place was packed. I mean, this is my first time going to Whitesboro and seeing that scene. Coach Fagan's got something special down there. I had a chance to go talk to Coach Fagan after the game, and he believed they're peaking at the right time, that this was their best overall performance of the year. Really just impressive for Whitesboro. So if you want a dark horse in Region 1, when we're talking about all of these things, how about Whitesboro? I think the Bearcats that are not being talked about are the Bearcats, a little up 377 over into Whitesboro. So let's talk about what I thought was going to happen last week and what actually did happen. I thought Whitesboro would beat Peaster by a touchdown. Again, they won pretty convincingly, 52-9, and that game was not close. It was 52-2 at one point. Peaster scored a garbage touchdown in the fourth quarter. Whitesboro's second team, even when they substituted their quarterback in, they were playing better, and poor Gunnar McElroy was just running for his life all night. Whitesboro's defense, I think, is pretty underrated as well. Bowie against Boyd. Bowie has had a tough season, and Boyd just took care of business. I had them winning by 21. They won by 42. I thought Paradise and Ponder would be much closer. Paradise took care of business 42-21 in that game. And then the Pilot Point Brock game I thought would be closer. And it was through a half. For a while, I was really regretting going up to Whitesboro Peaster because it was 14-7 at halftime over there at Pilot Point Brock. But Brock took care of business in the second half, winning that game 47-13. Let's break down some of those games a little bit, and we'll start out with the district championship in a game. This is a game that was 14-7 at halftime. Really got away from Pilot Point in the second half, where Brock just completely dominated them. And one thing I heard up at the press box over in Whitesboro was that they were talking about how they were glad they didn't want to be district champions because they recognized how good Jim Ned was, and that if you're in that part of the bracket, if you're the fourth place team or any of the other teams, you'd have to beat Brock and Jim Ned. But if you are on the other half of the bracket, you only had to beat Brock or Jim Ned, depending on who got out of that region. And that's a good point, because winning two tough games like that is incredibly hard. Like if there was a dark horse in that half of the bracket, they're going to have to beat both of them. And I don't think there's anybody within 5 touchdowns of those two teams on that side of the bracket. But obviously, it's just a much harder road on that half of the bracket. But I think that when I'm looking at the Brock Pilot Point game, Cutter Wilson had himself a night. 26 carries for 341 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nathan Jones was pretty much unstoppable. 5 receptions for 103 yards and a touchdown. Let's give a shout out to Ish Harris. We know his talent because, obviously Texas A&M would not recruit a player that didn't have talent, but he hadn't been putting up big numbers this year. And a couple of thought processes with that is that, you got to think the big picture. If Pilot Point is going to have an extended playoff run, you might not want to wear him down. He might have been coming off an injury or something that people aren't talking about, or coaches are trying to keep under wraps and just kind of get him healthy and that sort of a thing. Or perhaps they're saving him for the playoffs and, just kind of rotating other players in, and when it's playoff time, it's ish time. But either way, he kind of got things ramped up a little bit against Brock. Had 20 carries for 101 yards and a touchdown, also 3 receptions for 48 yards and a touchdown. And Brock really did a good job. You know, how many times have we been talking about the video game numbers, one of those words, of Aiden Cox? You know, he had 301 yards the week before. He was held to 6 receptions for 35 yards. And I get at some level that Pilot Point, this game wasn't as important to them because they might have had the Whitesboro philosophy of, we're going to have to beat this team again, let's not show them too much. But I would have liked for Pilot Point, if I was going to get excited about this outcome, and for the first half I would like to see a little bit more defensive pride. Giving up 615 yards over 64 plays, giving up 10 yards a rush, 10 yards in overall play, just really isn't what I wanted to see from Pilot Point if I'm going to get excited about Pilot Point being a team that can win this region and pull an improbable upset in the regional finals. And Whitesboro showed me that kind of mentality. I think they showed me that they had enough on both sides of the ball to maybe get a team that had to put everything on the field in the third round, whereas Whitesboro might be coasting a little bit, or Pilot Point, you know, depending on how it goes. But I'm just more impressed with Whitesboro right now, having seen them in person. Granted, I've not seen Pilot Point in person play a full game, but what I saw with Whitesboro was pretty impressive. As I mentioned, when I got there, it was 13-0, and it just continued. Mac Harper went 9 of 10 for 346 yards and 6 touchdowns. I mean, it was long ball offense all night. I mean, they only had 33 plays. I mean, it was just something that was incredible, whereas Peaster had 72 plays because they were just trying to get something done all night. And just Peaster was going for it on 4th down, and it was taking them 4 plays to get, you know, just eke out that 10 yards every single time. It was just an incredible defensive performance. The big offensive star on the reception side for Whitesboro was Jay Sanders, 4 receptions for 183 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jacob Hermes, 3 for 75 and 2 touchdowns. And Sean Shears, 2 for 111 and 1 touchdown. Asher Contreras, I really liked him at running back. Tough runner, 7 for 86 and 1 touchdown. So, I mean, we're talking about a team that ran up 525 yards. And if you look at Peaster, you look at them and go, okay, Gunnar McElroy, 24 for 35, 250 yards and a touchdown. Let me tell you, folks, that was in garbage time. I mean, it was not a competitive game whatsoever at all until Peaster maybe got 150 of those 250 yards in the fourth quarter against Whitesboro's backups. Whitesboro just completely flipped the script for me in how I would deem Region 1. Boyd versus Bowie. Again, we've talked about Rendon Lamance all year long, and he didn't fail to live up to his expectation. 10 for 13 for 107 yards. Did throw an interception. But on the rushing side of the ball, 20 carries for 218 yards and 2 touchdowns as Boyd wins the last game and gets to end the season on a high, beating Bowie 48-6. And then Ponder versus Paradise. Paradise with a 42-21 win. We talked about how Ponder's youth, kind of monitor a couple of those players. Clifton Cooper, 29 for 42, 294 yards. 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Paradise's defense has been one of the underrated aspects of their team this year. They're very good at forcing turnovers. Just couldn't win any of those Big Four games against the 4 playoff teams, and they were competitive in 3 of those 4 games. Just 1-score losses, couldn't convert. Clifton Cooper rushing the ball, 14 carries for 26 yards, really speaks to that Paradise defense. And Case Peacock, the sophomore, 9 receptions for 87 yards, and Colby Murphy, the sophomore, 8 receptions for 115 yards. So if you are a Ponder fan, you're very excited about what's coming back. Paradise, very senior-heavy team. We'll have to see what they can build back next year. It was 28-14 at halftime, and then they finished it off in the fourth quarter to win 42-21. So as we said last week, we're saying goodbye to Boyd, Bowie, Ponder, and Paradise. No more, no more talk of Ponder, Paradise, Boyd, Bowie. The P's and the B's are now gone. Have a great basketball season. From what I understand, Ponder has a good basketball team. So enjoy, friends. And next year, if we do the 4-3A report again this next year, well, and who knows what it will look like. We got realignment coming up in February, how all of this will work out. So probably at the very least, the last time we will have the 4-3A report with this batch of 8 teams, as realignment will definitely shake things up. So let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen this week and kind of how I view the region. A big game last week, Early and Wall. Early had a great fourth quarter to force a 3-way tie by beating Wall by 10. Completely flipping the script on how things were going to go there. Jim Ned, obviously the number 1 seed. But Breckenridge, by way of that 3-way tie, ends up getting the 2nd seed, with Early getting the 3rd seed and Wall then getting a nice consolation game against Brock. So this week we're going to have Jim Ned against Peaster, Early against Pilot Point, Wall against Brock, and Breckenridge versus Whitesboro. Obviously, the 2 big games that are the more competitive games, Jim Ned is going to blast Peaster, and Brock is going to blast Wall. But Early and Pilot Point and Breckenridge and Whitesboro, I think, are the teams that are the 2 games of note. And really, Breckenridge, if you remember, we've talked about them a few weeks ago in the District 4-3A report. This is a team that's coming on strong. They're peaking at the right time, too. So you got Breckenridge peaking at the right time and Whitesboro peaking at the right time. But for me, I'm really a big fan of what Whitesboro is doing. I'll be taking Whitesboro in that game. Early versus Pilot Point is an interesting game because Early, when you looked at what Breckenridge did against them, Breckenridge blasted them pretty good, but Early is still an 8-2 team, and Pilot Point has had some of the problems that we've talked about. I think that's a 1-score game. I think Whitesboro has a chance to handle Breckenridge pretty convincingly, but Early and Pilot Point, that's an upset watch for me because Pilot Point has, again, there's just something missing when you look at what Pilot Point does week in and week out. I don't know if it's the infrastructure of the offensive line, defensive line, because obviously their skill players are fantastic. Quarterback, running back, and a couple of the receivers are fantastic, but defensively, obviously getting cash for 10 yards a run against Brock is very telling. I don't know how tough they are defensively, especially on the front 7. So this is a little bit of a worrisome game. Early has a lot of confidence, and maybe they kind of figured it out because after Breckenridge blasted them a few weeks ago. So Pilot Point, you're on upset watch with this game. I think I'm going to pick you Pilot Point, but I'm not feeling great about this game. I'm feeling a lot better about Whitesboro and Breckenridge. And that end, when you kind of start breaking down the bracket and how everything is going to end up looking, you could see a Whitesboro, we know we're going to have Jim Ned and Brock most likely in that 3rd round, but things could kind of break down to where you've got Pilot Point and Whitesboro in that third round as well, and I will probably go see that game because I think if they make it to that end, but again, it's not going to be an easy road because Shallow Water and Pilot Point, that's kind of a 50-50 thing. Obviously, Bushland and Whitesboro, Bushland will be a favorite for many, and that's what I was talking about. I think Whitesboro really has a chance to shock this region because what I saw, they are an underrated team, and I think that they have a chance to get to that 3rd round and potentially the 4th round. I would have them, from what I saw, I think Whitesboro is that team to win this top half of the bracket. Of course, as you hear, as we get more data in, things are subject to change as always, but I do believe that Whitesboro is a team that everybody is not talking about, that everybody should be talking about on that top half of the bracket. They are a good team. A storyline we've been talking about all year is the Jim Ned versus Brock game and how that's going to work out. I needed Brock to beat to win by more than Jim Ned did this week. Jim Ned won by 28 against Clyde, and Brock. There was a point where they were only up by 27, and then they got a little bit of a special teams play. They got an onside kick. Again, when you look at the fact that they were down 21-14 and then poured it on, winning the second half 34-6, you could really see the fact that Brock wanted to make a statement and let everybody know that they are the number one team in the state, and it goes through them. So they got my vote now, at least against Jim Ned. Jim Ned has kind of shown themselves to not be as strong over the last few weeks. Like, they've kind of every week, every time the scores come by, they're winning just enough. And they kind of remind me of a 5A team, Denton Ryan, the way they're playing, if you follow 5A football, where they're not winning these games with the big scores like Brock is. Frisco Lone Star in that region was winning those games, but then when they played this week, he had a 7-6 game with Denton Ryan beating Lone Star just with that defensive style of football. So I think of that game, and I wonder if Jim Ned is playing that kind of offense and defense to where we're not really going to see, unless we're watching them, the quality of football that they're playing. But have they really been tested this year? Whereas I think Brock has had a couple of tests to get them going. So I think Brock on paper has earned that to be the favorite over Jim Ned. But is Jim Ned kind of giving us a little bit of the rope-a-dope and sandbagging us? I guess time will tell when it comes to that. But I think as of today, you got to give Brock the advantage over Jim Ned. And right now, I said I was going to decide who's going to get the advantage with Bushland and Pilot Point. Well, after seeing Whitesboro, I'm upgrading them to be the team that I think will be win the other half of that bracket, and will face the winner of Jim Ned and Brock. But you know what? It's football, and next week, Breckenridge is certainly capable of beating Whitesboro, and we might come back here, throw our papers up in the air, and recalibrate it all again, and that's the great thing about high school football. There have been many times where a computer poll has made a team a 30 or 40-point favorite, and they should have been, but 4 or 5 turnovers and a couple of special teams plays completely changed things. Just 3 games immediately that come off to mind. Lubbock Coronado and Amarillo Tascosa. Amarillo Tascosa had 6 turnovers in that game. They lose. Ned and Brock. But you know what? It's football, and next week, Breckenridge is certainly capable of beating Whitesboro, and we might come back here, throw our papers up in the air, and recalibrate it all again, and that's the great thing about high school football. There have been many times where a computer poll has made a team a 30 or 40-point favorite, and they should have been, but 4 or 5 turnovers and a couple of special teams plays completely changed things. Just 3 games immediately that come off to mind. Lubbock Coronado and Amarillo Tascosa. Amarillo Tascosa had 6 turnovers in that game. They lose. They were highly favored. McKinney North and Longview. Longview was about a 30-point favorite. 4 turnovers. McKinney North wins that game, and then the next week, Longview comes and beats John Tyler, or I guess just Tyler now, Tyler High, 49-0. And then Lovejoy against Frisco Liberty. Frisco Liberty was a 30-point underdog. They had lost to Frisco by 36, and Lovejoy had beat Frisco by 28. So what happens this week when they play? Frisco Liberty executes a perfect offensive game plan, death by 1,000 cuts, and they beat Lovejoy. All of this to say, I know that's not District 4 3A talk, but it's playoffs. Anything can happen in the playoffs. That's why they play the games. That's why they don't just have me fill out the bracket and sign a check for the winner. You got to earn it on the field. And all of these things with a weird weather week or just one thing can completely change the dynamics. But that's how things look this week, and next week we'll tell you how things look next week. So for all of our friends in Pilot Point, all of our friends at Uncle Beto's, and all of the District 4 3A teams that have made the playoffs, Thank you for tuning in to another District 4-3A report. I'm going to kick it to our friends in Pilot Point at the studios who will play me out. We'll see you next week.
Curtis and Holly Peacock are proud supporters of Pilot Point ISD. Peacock family wants to wish all students in the Pilot Point ISD a great 2021-22 school year and encourage them to continue making our community proud. The success of our school district is a true reflection of the quality of students here in Pilot Point. It is always a great day to be a Pilot Point Bearcat.
And here we are live getting ready for the second half here. We're going to jump into a Riney Construction stat sheet check. So, the yardage discrepancy isn't as alarming as you might think it would be in a 29-7 game. Pilot Point 159 yards passing, only 16 yards rushing, 175 yards total offense. Early 52 yards passing, 142 yards rushing for 194 yards total offense. Where the point differential is the two defensive touchdowns and the safety. So they have a pick. Early has an interception return for a touchdown. They have a fumble that, in all actuality was an incomplete pass that Early caught the break and then was ruled a fumble. They picked it up and carried it out into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yep.
Snap goes between Wyatt Smith's legs through the back of the end zone. So there's 16 defensive points. So that brings you down, 29 minus 60, that's 13 points. Early's only scored 2 offensive touchdowns in this game.
You lose a possession with the safety.
Yes.
You got to kick it back to him. So
you think how in my head I was guilty of this until just this very moment. How dominant this Early offense has been, and we were able to corral them in the second quarter. No. They scored on their first drive, they scored on their second drive on offense, and since then their offense has not been the thing to get them in the end zone. So looking for hope for the Bearcats. There's that. The defense is starting to figure things out. And then what really has killed the Bearcats, 2 times we've had the ball goal to go inside the Longhorn 5 and walked away with 0 points. If we get those in, even you give Early the defensive touchdowns, even with those, if you can get in the end zone both those times, we're looking at potentially a 29-21 game where you get the ball to start the half.
Yeah, completely different ball game if we punch those 2 in for sure. And just seemed like we had momentum going our way in that second quarter, but just couldn't finish the drives.
Yep, so individual stats on the Riney Construction stat sheet check. Wyatt Smith, 10 of 20, 159 yards, 1 touchdown. He has the pick 6, that was a curl route, and then he was trying to get rid of the ball on a screen in which it was intercepted by a defensive lineman. So he has 2 interceptions, which is half his total all year. Rushing, Ish Harris, 8 for 18. Gage Anderson, 5 for 16. But Wyatt Smith, because of the huge loss on the safety, because he did technically kind of recover it there in the end zone before it went out the back. Negative 18 yards rushing for Wyatt, which is, cut the rushing total in half. Receiving, Aiden Cox, he's doing his thing. 5 catches, 131 yards, and 1 touchdown. And we talked about it a half off air. Not very often we see Aiden Cox with open field being ran down, and we've seen that twice tonight. So he could potentially have had 3 touchdowns. But, we talked about Vic Cooper at halftime, number 88.
No doubt. You don't often see a 6'4", 200-pound defensive back at this level, but Vic Cooper, number 88, he's something special.
He shocked me. I was ready to make the call, Aiden Cox going to the house, but right before I said it, I kind of looked at it and said, I don't know. And sure enough, he was able to track him down. Opening Southern Junkie kick is a pooch kick, caught on the run at the 30, going to get up to about the Bearcat 35-yard line. Bearcat's going to take the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 35. Crew Chandler comes up and fields the kickoff. And the Bearcats has some work to do.
Yeah, and that was the one we had problems with against Brock. So good job by Crew Chandler adjusting, making that catch on the run, getting it up to the 35. So let's go, Bearcats. We got to get something going here.
So we talk about you don't win games in the first quarter, but you can sure get yourself into a big hole. And that's since the first quarter, the Bearcats have they've gotten a rhythm on offense out once, until they get inside the Longhorn 5. The defense has been playing. So let's see if they can build on that momentum. Gage Anderson spins out of 2 would-be tacklers. And, man, I tell you, his runs carry a lot of action, and then you look up and you see he's only gained about 3 yards on the carry.
Yeah, Ryan, I already saw an adjustment here from the early Longhorns. They flexed out Frankie Villarreal, number 33, the linebacker, out on Aiden, and then they were covering him over the top. So it looks like they're doing it again on that other side. They've got the cornerback, playing blanket coverage.
Oh, yeah, pressure. Wyatt Smith's just going to get rid of this one. Looked like it might have been a screen coming, or the Longhorn pass rush just came through. I mean, it looks like
I thought it was a middle screen the way the defensive line from the early Longhorns got in that backfield as quick as they did.
It was the cut block technique. So I guess they were going to try to do a wide receiver screen or something. The offensive line tries to cut the defensive lineman. The interior tackles got cut, but the defensive ends did a good job of fighting it off and then end up in Wyatt Smith's face. So it's going to be 3rd and about 7 here. Line to gain is going to be the 45. Drop back to pass. Wyatt Smith pressured. Steps up away from a sack. Scrambling left. He's going to tuck it and run. He's going to get the first down plus some out across the 50. Man, Trey Beam came off the edge thinking he was about to take Wyatt's head off. And Wyatt steps up, avoids him, and rushes for an IRC real estate first down.
Yeah, you're right. And Trey Beam looked at the sideline and pounded his chest and kind of said, hey, that was my fault. I missed him in the backfield. I overran him. His coaches were not happy.
Yeah, I mean, he thought he was about to take Wyatt Smith's head off, and Wyatt steps up underneath him and takes it up for a first down. Snap. Kerry Gage Anderson's going to get the edge, try to get out across the 45. Tough running from the freshman.
Yeah, got out of 88's
A
grasp.
late flag here. I have no idea what this could be. It was thrown away from everything on the Bearcat sideline. Nobody within the vicinity. At the end of the play, no idea what this could be. Okay, yeah, it was.
They didn't either.
How do you throw a flag? That line judge throws the flag, has to run all the way across the field just to tell the head referee, sorry, I messed up.
I was just warming up my arm.
So 2 yards for Gage Anderson. Man, he's a tough runner. Like I said, lots of action every time he gets the ball.
He was just trying to impress you like that guy last year threw the flag 35 yards.
Don't get me started on that guy. That guy was a machine. Snap. Handoff up the middle for Gage Anderson. Tough run. He's going to get out to the 40-yard line. That guy yesterday reminds me of one of those guys that plays high-level men's softball that played minor league back in his past, and he won't let it go. That's what that guy looked like, man. And throwing the flag as far as he possibly could.
Shout out to all the beer league softball players.
Hey, I played. They're fun, man. I know some great guys do that, but you also see your fair share of guys that you're like, okay, we're doing this. So, looks like there's a flag of some sort on the play. I can't tell. The referee's got the ball in his hand. He's looking at the sideline walking with it. If there was a flag, it was on the early Longhorns. No flag. It's just, I don't know. I have any idea why they had to do that there.
There was a flag on the field.
They marked it off like there was a flag, but they still moved from 2nd down to 3rd down. What happened? Oh, man.
I don't know what it was. There was a flag.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, now they moved it back to 2nd down. 2nd and 3 here. Snap. Back to pass. Throwing it deep. Aiden Cox going to try to get it. And he gets it. Steps over the man. Touchdown, Bearcats.
That's the one we needed.
Aiden Cox goes right up over number 4, John Stewart Gordon. I think they figured, hey, if we have Gordon over him, we don't need to double cover him, and they were wrong. Then he gave Gordon there the old Allen Iverson step over, where he stepped over Ty Lue on the sideline after he catches it, throws him to the ground, steps over him, and walks in the end zone.
We're going to see that on he got mossed.
Yeah, that whole Nick Stallion PAT snap, hold, kick is up, and it's good. And hey, couldn't start any better if you're the Bearcats. Get in the end zone. Let's play some defense here. So we're going to go to a commercial, come back for the kick.
Hi, I'm Greg Pelzel. Here at Pelzel Printing, we do custom embroidery, custom screen printing, and promotional product. You can reach Greg Pelzel at 940-453-5443. Go Bearcats.
Point Bank is proud to support the Pilot Point Bearcats 2021 football season. Open your real free checking account with Point Bank and show your Bearcat pride with a Point Bank school logo debit card, custom designed with the Pilot Point High School logo on the front. Visit pointbank.com to know more. Point Bank. Your neighbors love us. You will too. Member FDIC.
Huge Bearcat nutrition in, big play, touchdown from Aiden Cox to start this half. That's what we needed right there. And like I said, the classic meme of Allen Iverson stepping over Ty Lue after he hits a big shot. That's what Aiden Cox did on his way to the end zone right there. Deep kick fielded by Gordon at the 5, and he's going to have a chance to return this. Bearcat coverage team gets down there and playing with some life here. I wonder if we did hitting drills in the locker room or something. But the coverage team makes a tackle at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, we're bringing the juice now. Could have used it to start the game, but hey, better late than never.
Better late than never. That is correct. And you know, a lot of football left to be played. And, you know, these games take crazy turns all the time. You know, we're 5-point favorites. People think Pop Point was a better team. Early come out and put 29 up in the first quarter. Who's to say we can't have a quarter like that on our own, you know? Snap, handoff, Trey Beam. Not a whole lot of running room. Drags a Bearcat defender up, but only gets about 2 yards. Colin Lynch, defensive end, makes initial contact, then gets some help from the inside guys to bring him down. Some life from the Bearcat defense.
Yeah, Bearcat's laying some lumber. We're hitting people.
Hey, Ryan, can I throw out some announcer talk here? I'm going to go ahead and say this is the most important drive of the game so far.
Well, it could set the tone for the rest of this half and show that we're for. I don't disagree at all right here. Snap, handoff up the middle again, and who else? I believe that's Curly Brockman upended him after 1.5 yards. Going to set up a third and about 6 here. Ball's going to be placed at the 25. Line to gains the 31. Big play here. I mean, a lot of people I'm sure might have written this game off when they saw the score early. Bearcats defense gets a stop here. You know, you may want to reach out to your friends and say, hey, turn it back on. Yep, turn it back on because it's a long way from over. But that Bearcats got to make a big stop here. Jackson Price at quarterback with Trey Beam to his left. Trips right. They're going to roll away from the trips. One receiver side gets a shoulder turn. Incomplete on the coverage. Number 3, Colin Lynch. And some life from the Bearcat defense forcing an early Longhorn punt here on Early's first possession in the second half. And, you know, we've put together now 4 consecutive great drives on offense. The killer is only 2 ended in touchdowns and 2 we fell apart in goal-to-go situations. But the defense hadn't allowed a touchdown since the first quarter. The offense is finding rhythm. Early punt is up. It's high. It's short. And we're going to fair catch. Aiden Cox is going to fair catch it at the 50. And we're going to get a commercial break and come back and see what this offense can do.
Pilot Point Feed Store is a locally owned, family-run business built on service. Established in 2003, the Shawn family's experience, knowledge, and exceptional customer service is unmatched. Pilot Point Feed carries a large selection of feeds for all types of animals. While you're there, be sure to visit the retail department and boutique, offering name-brand clothing like Double D Ranch and Tasha Palese. They also have ranch supplies, deer feeders, cooking grills, home decor, furniture, gifts, and much, much more. Pilot Point Feed, more than just a feed store.
First play back on the Bearcat drive. Instant pressure off the edge for the early Longhorns. Had a few man crossing the middle that was open, but Trey Beam didn't miss this time. Gets the sack for the Longhorns and drops us back 9 yards on first down.
Yeah, it seems like Trey Beam, number 3, he's blitzing almost every play from his outside linebacker position here. He's disrupting our passing game.
Yep, we'll see. I'm sure they're going to make some adjustments on Aiden up there. They do have just no secret. A guy on him, a guy over the top of that guy. Screenplay coming, Weissman scrambling, and he's just going to sail this one out. Early is not interested in biting for screens. All the pressure that Early's getting is being blitzed from the second level. So these defensive linemen aren't really getting upfield in the pass rush, which is tough to run screens when they're not really trying to get upfield. So it's going to set up third and really long for the Bearcats. I'd say to make this manageable, they need probably 14, 15 yards here to make this a decision to go for it. 7:46 left in the third quarter here.
Yeah, they put Villarreal out here on Aiden.
Snap, handoff to Gage Anderson up the middle, and trying to catch him off guard by going with the run there on third and long, I guess, but this is going to set up a Bearcat punt. Not what we needed after a 3-and-out forced by the defense. So
no, not at all. I thought we would run something like that on first down because we're they're pulling that guy out of the box with Aiden playing 2 guys on him. But nothing going there for the Bearcats.
Yep, so 4th and 19 is going to set up a punt. 7:15 and counting here for the Bearcats in the third quarter. Snap is good. The punt is off, and it's a good one. It's a real good one. It's going to be caught at the 11-yard line. Gordon's going to try to make a few Bearcat defenders miss. Ultimately, is only able to get 6 yards on the return. We come back early. It's going to be 1st and 10 at their own 12.
The National Fellowship of Raceway Ministries provides Christian outreach for auto racing all across the United States at dirt tracks, short tracks, and racing venues that include NASCAR, IndyCar, and ARCA racing, and many other series. We train chaplains and create opportunities for local churches to get involved in fan outreach. We understand competition in sports events, and we work hard to provide a positive influence in the midst of auto racing action. Learn more at racewayministries.org. And meanwhile, go Bearcats.
First play of the Longhorn drive is a huge loss. They tried to run a sweep. Aaron Stripmatter gets through and will not be denied. Offensive lineman still trying to block him. Gets his hand on Trey Beam. Fights him until Gavin Wheeler and some other Bearcat defenders can get there to help get him down. Ultimately, 7-yard loss on first down there for the Longhorns. Setting them up 2nd and 17 at their own 11-yard line. Trips right. Snap looking to throw. They're going deep to number 7. Oh, Crew Chandler got turned around and ultimately got his hands around the waist of number 7, Cedric Moreland. And it's a backbreaker. You have a 7-yard loss on first down, and then you give him a pass interference penalty to get the first down.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like you said, Cruz turned around, so he just kind of had to wrap his arm around number 7's waist there.
And it sucks he did that because the receiver kind of ran into him and forced it. Not saying it wasn't a penalty, definitely a penalty. But the way the receiver ran the route, it wasn't even really going to be caught the way he ran the route. It wasn't sunk up right, So
yeah, the
unfortunately,
timing was off. I don't think he would have caught it anyways.
Yeah, definitely a penalty, but kind of unnecessary there. Run play, Trey Beam.
Uh-oh.
Trey Beam's going to break the tackle this time. Ish Harris is going to bring him, not bring him down. Did the old Winky Williams thing where his knee was basically on the ground, but I guess this time it might have not actually been because I'm not seeing a huge reaction from the Bearcat sideline.
Yeah, I think he just used his hand and
it was not down.
Not down, yeah.
went under the tackle.
Yeah, I could tell by the Bearcat sideline.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was his hand.
All right, 12 yards there on first down, another first down for the early Longhorns. And now, get a little bit of life after the defense bails you out with a pass interference penalty. So this Bearcat defense has to just continue digging deep and make some plays here. Motion right to left, setting up trips left. And they're going to run the ball to the right. Trey Beam, and he's going to have nowhere to go before he's upended by Curly Brockman there. Also a Bearcat defensive lineman, I think, helped slow him down, but Curly Brockman upends Trey Beam for no gain.
Yeah, patented Curly Brockman tackle right there.
Yeah, Aiden Cox was able to get a hand on him just to slow him down for a second, and then Curly Brockman upends him.
Yeah, and it looks like Early's just trying to spread us out 4 wide and then go with the little option read until they get into a spot where they've got to throw the ball.
Something going on, official timeout, making a player leave. I guess they want to get him checked. Blood, something, I don't know, but he's coming off under his own power. Referee's making him leave. So that is number 61, Dalton Adams. We'll see if he comes back in shortly. But the referee's made him leave. He was getting ready for that play, so I have to imagine he wasn't overly...
He wasn't thrilled about coming off, but...
Yeah, but he's coming off here, setting up a 2nd and 10 from their own 38-yard line for the early Longhorns. 5:08 left in the third quarter. Clock is now running. There, early 15 seconds on the play clock, getting a check. Trips left, one receiver right. Snap the ball, roll out left to pass. And I think he's just going to tuck it and try to get the corner. And he's pushed out of bounds. And he gets about 4 yards on it and runs out of bounds under his own accord. Going to set up a 3rd and 6.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm I don't mind him running out of bounds.
Yep, so
Stopping that
I
clock.
think the clock stops until the ball's set, then I think they wind the clock, but clock is accurately stopped at the time. And I'll see if they run it. So no, I guess clock rules are different a little everywhere. I thought when you run out of bounds with this time on the clock, I believe I thought they were supposed to run it when it was ready for play. Bearcats jump, but nobody got off sides. They throw it to number 4, Gordon, and Steven Rodas is going to drag him down, but not until he gets a first down. Bearcats kind of jump, but they did not cross the line of scrimmage, so that was not a free play. There was no flag that come out, but Early didn't need it. First down into Bearcat territory at the 45-yard line.
Still seemed to disrupt our timing defensively, but offensively they went with it.
Yep, snap. So Early, I think, they're be mindful of the clock. They're not draining it to 1 or anything, but they're being mindful. They're getting up, trying to get the Bearcats on the hard count, and then getting the check in. And now they are bringing it under 10. The last play was snapped with 10 on the play clock. So this one is currently at 5. Ready to run. Snap, handoff up the middle. Coming up from a safety spot, Ish Harris teams up with Curly Brockman, makes an excellent tackle, maybe a half yard on the carry.
Yeah, it was a much better tackle from Ish on that one, using his shoulder pads, getting across the body.
Yeah, Curly Brockman thought he was about to upend Trey Beam until Flash came in from the secondary and brought him down. For the Bearcats, note on offense, Aiden Cox has 171 yards and 2 touchdowns on 6 catches tonight.
He's back on track.
Yeah, another big game here. Snap, roll out right for the Longhorns. Looking to pass, going down the field. Steven Rodas in good position. And incomplete. Great play by Steven Rodas. And, letting them play down there. I'm going to look at the replay here at the Saginaw Rough Rider Stadium. See what I think about a flag. No, I think it was pretty clean.
Pretty good coverage.
We had the early coaches next just ensure they want a penalty, but it looked, your initial reaction to it looked kind of rough, but when you really look at it, there wasn't a whole lot of contact Steven Rodas made.
The receiver kind of jumped on his own, and Steven Rodas had his right hand in there.
Yep. 3rd and 10 for the Longhorns. Back to pass. Jackson Price steps up, throws a swing pass. Curly Brockman gets out there and can't knock it down and can't make the tackle. Trey Beam's going to try to get in the end zone, and he's not going to be able to, but he's going to get it down to the Bearcat 5. Looked like they ran a little pick play there, which allowed Trey Beam to get out of the backfield open. Curly couldn't quite get there to make, cover the ground to get over there.
Yeah,
so
the quarterback kind of fluttered that ball. Thought we had a chance, but if he'd have delivered it on time.
Yep. Snap. Rolling out, throw it in the end zone, and it is going to be caught for an early touchdown. That was a free play for the Longhorns. The Bearcats jumped off sides, and all the momentum that we had coming out, scoring a touchdown, forcing a quick 3-and-out is now out the window on that touchdown by the early Longhorns. Extends this one out early 35, Bearcats 14, pending this next Italian PAT.
I got the patented left-footed kicker. Good snap, good hold.
We've seen such inconsistency from him. But this one is up, and it's good. 3:08 left in the third quarter. Early 36, Bearcats 14.
Riney Construction has been in the business for over 20 years. They offer an extended array of custom barns, buildings, fencing, and barn dominiums. Custom work by Riney Construction is full service. From design to completion, they ensure your vision becomes a reality. Riney Construction provides free estimates for your metal building or fencing project. Contact Riney Construction to turn your project on paper into a beautiful barn, shop, home, or fence at allenrineyconstruction@gmail.com or call Allen at 940-367-4698.
We're going to come out of the break with the Pilot Point feed out-of-town scoreboard.
Yeah, Ryan, Jim Ned's up 49-12 over Peaster with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Whitesboro's up 43-14 over Breckenridge with 2:56 left in the third quarter. And, Shallow-Water played yesterday. They won 56-18 over Dalhart. So Shallow-Water's waiting on the winner of this game.
Yep, now a fit body scoreboard check for the action here. 3:08 left in the third quarter. Early 36, Pilot Point 14. Early about to kick off to the Bearcats. The story of this game has been just missed opportunities for the Bearcats, and early in this game, the Bearcats just couldn't get anything to go their way. And once they started to pull out of it in the second half or the second quarter, they started to pull out of it since the second quarter. Since since the end of the first quarter, they've actually winning the game, but it's not translating to the final here.
On the scoreboard.
Yeah, Crew Chandler breaks the tackle on the kickoff return, but ultimately it's going to get down at 35. Yeah, since the end of the first quarter, they're outscoring early 14-7. But you dug yourself such a huge first quarter hole that it's going to take just a mammoth uphill climb from here to try to make this one into something late.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they've been able to change their game plan defensively and put 2 guys out on Aiden Cox. And offensively, they're gonna nurse the play clock down under 10 when they're on offense.
Yep, and now you see how the game is won. You see avenues on how the Bearcats could make it happen. It's just going to be everything's going to have to start going right. And this carry to Ish Harris up the middle, and he's just going to try to fight for every yard he can get, and there's a real tough run there. It's going to be 7 yards for him on that real tough run. Bearcats going to try to get with some urgency here and getting lined up and getting some plays in.
That's what thought I was going to see the first play of last series, because with Aiden being hot right now, they're pulling that linebacker out and putting him in Aiden's face, and it frees up a guy out of the box defensively.
Yep. They're going to look to pass. They're going to swing it out to Ish Harris, who makes a one-handed catch. Oh, man, makes Villarreal miss originally, but instead of getting upfield, continues to try to stutter step and allows Villarreal to get back up and ultimately make the tackle for no gain.
Yeah, and Herd of Longhorns, 55, 56, 65, all were able to recover and get over there and help make a gang tackle.
Absolutely.
I want to say stepping out of bounds is more important than the stutter step at this point.
Yep, 2 minutes exactly here in the third quarter. 3rd and short here for the Bearcats. Drop back. Smith with some time. Now he's being pressured from the blind side. Didn't really know it. Was able to sail it out of bounds. And now he is down after taking a big hit from behind. He didn't see the rush coming from behind him. Takes a big hit. Takes a minute to get up, but he's definitely hanging a shoulder. So, bad timing here on this 4th and short.
Yeah, Caleb McCullough, number 24 for the early Longhorns, was coming on a rush from that outside linebacker position. Just hit wide as he let go of the ball.
Wyatt is, maybe you're doing a Wildcat here. I don't actually. Dakota David split out here. Yeah, okay, this is our Wildcat formation because Aiden Cox and Ish Harris are in the backfield. Dakota David in the quarterback spot way out here, lined up at receiver. But the Bearcats decided this 4th down is too important. They're going to take their first Uppercut Granite timeout.
Puzzle Barbershop and Salon and Southern Junkies has been home of the Bearcats since 1973. Whether you are looking for a classic crew cut or the perfect game day outfit, we have you covered. We carry a few fan favorite brands including Hey Dude Shoes, Judy Blue Jeans, Z Supply Clothing, and Orleans Candle Company. Come check us out on the north side of the square in downtown Paula Point or online at www.southernjunkies.com, and that is junkies with a Z. And don't forget, go Bearcats!
We're getting up here, getting ready for a 4th and about 3. The line to gain is going to be the Bearcat 46-yard line. Interesting to see what the decision is going to have to be. Can't really see Wyatt Smith. You didn't want to use a timeout there, but the 4th down was just too big not to.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Wyatt Smith's back in.
No, but we do have the Wildcat formation here, so Ish and Aiden are going to play quarterback, running back here, and we'll see what they come up with. I think
Aiden Cox at quarterback.
That's what it looks like. Aiden Cox takes a snap, and it's going to be just a power to the right side. He picks up an excellent block by Ish Harris, gets more than enough yards that he needed to get the Irish Real Estate first down up to the Bearcat 49-yard line. Ish Harris definitely hit the edge looking to make a room for him, and a huge block that set up that first down carry.
Yeah, it's very nice having Aiden as a weapon running the ball.
Hey, man, he can do so much in the passing game on the other end of it.
Anytime he gets the ball in his hands, man, he's dangerous.
Yeah, he does so much in the passing game on the other end of it. I wouldn't be surprised to see him do some amazing things here. 1st and 10 at the Bearcat 49 snap. And it's going to be Aiden Cox carry up the middle, and he has some space. Breaks one tackle. Vic Cooper trying to drag him down. Finally does, but not until he gets down to the 21-yard line. Bearcat Nutrition Den, big play. 30 yards right up the middle.
Yeah, and Early had a blitz coming right up the middle, and then we had a nice play call around that blitz. And then, of course, Early's got that Vic Vic Cooper, number 88, safety valve back there. He's the only one that could bring Aiden down.
Minute 08, and clock is running. Snap. Oh, bobbled snap, but Aiden Cox is just a man on a mission. Can't be tackled. Gets it across a 15, jumps over a man, out of bounds. Oh, flag being thrown from, really far back into the middle of the field. What? It's so late. It's so late. It's not a hold. It's not a hold. The play's way away. It's over. It's not a hold. Oh, my God.
Wow.
Aiden Cox is jumping out of bounds 25 yards away. The back judge from the end zone throws a flag out to the 21-yard line and says it's a hold.
I'm telling you, they want to impress you with those arms, Ron.
That's absurd. The play is over before you even see it. There's like 4 people standing around over where you threw the flag. You got to be kidding me.
I thought it had to be some kind of late hit or something as late as that flag came in.
Yeah, I mean, once again, though, but when I looked at it, there were 4 guys standing around looking at each other. Like, I don't even... Unbelievable.
Looks like Wyatt's back in.
Wyatt's back in, drops straight back, has some time. Throws it deep.
Good
Drew
ball.
Chandler going to have a chance. Fender distracts him enough to make it incomplete. He's going to set up a 2nd and 20 here from the 29 line to gain for the first down is going to be the 11. So I guess it's, ball's at the 29, yeah. 2nd and 18. Man, these penalties, untimely penalties, untimely.
Just shooting ourselves in the foot.
Get something
Seems
going.
like every drive.
Yeah, and that's indicative of the scoreboard right now, Like every time you get something going, you shoot yourself in the foot. Jet sweep motion left to right. Wyatt Smith drops straight back to pass. Now he's going to have to roll out right due to some pressure. Throws it up and out of bounds. Just not getting the protection they needed. And, Ish Harris, you look back, kind of standing there open on the back side of it. But, Wyatt Smith sprinting away from it. How is he supposed to be able to whip his head back around and see that,
Yeah, I thought we were setting up a screen, but...
Well, Ish, the running back who was supposed to pass protect, actually ran into the jet motion guy. And they both ended up just congregating there behind the line of scrimmage.
Discombobulated.
Yep, 3rd and 18 here for the Bearcats. So getting to be dire straits here for the Bearcats.
Big
Little
play
bunch trips formation left. Aiden Cox right. Dropping back to pass Wyatt Smith. The ball's going to be tipped at the line of scrimmage by number 55, Corbin Hall, one of your early captains to start this game. And it's going to set up a 4th and 18, and you don't have a choice. You can't.
Got to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're too close to punt. You're too far to kick.
Nope, got to go.
I know this is not like you would never tell a young quarterback this. I know it's probably not the smartest thing to do right now, but I mean, at this point, you have one guy who has just been a man amongst boys out there.
Number 1.
Just throw it to number 1. I mean, nothing else is working on
Sandlot football. We're not running him deep
Wyatt
enough.
Smith steps up in the pocket. He throws a deep. Cade Carter in the end zone. Or do that. Okay. Cade Carter, touchdown. Wow, Cade Carter gets loose. Makes sure he stays in the back of the end zone. Wyatt Smith delivers a beautiful 29-yard pass to Cade Carter for a Bearcat touchdown. So there it just goes to show, don't listen to me. Yeah, don't listen to me.
That just has to drive the early defensive coordinator nuts that we had a guy that wide open behind their defense on 4th and a mile.
Yeah. Next time PAT snap, hold, kick is up, and it is good. 31 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Early Longhorns 36, Pilot Point Bearcats 21. We'll come back after this.
Connect your life to the world with Speed of Light broadband. In the age of information, the internet is no longer a convenience or luxury. It is an essential element of the human experience. The internet has changed the way we think about and interact with the world. At Speed of Light Broadband, we unite communities to this universe of information through fixed, high-speed wireless broadband connections. Speed of Light Broadband's internet service is faster and more reliable than DSL or satellite connections. Speed of Light Broadband. We bring your home and your community into the digital future.
And we're back here, 31 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, and man, I've been so dejected up here most of the night, just feeling like this game is it was over from the get-go, man. Everything's going against us, and we look down, 31 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. It's a 2-possession game.
Yeah, it's not out of reach, that's for sure.
Yeah, Early's put together one good one good offensive drive in the last 30 minutes of football. You know, because, I mean, they scored on their first 2 offensive possessions, and they didn't get their next offensive touchdown until their last one, which was aided by a big penalty. Kickoff fielded at the 20-yard line, and he's going to reverse it up. Gordon's going to find some space before he's finally tackled. Cale Martin, Colin Lynch, a host of other Bearcats there are going to bring him down at the 34-yard line. So the Bearcat defense came out and set the tone at the start of this half with a quick 3-and-out. The second drive was going that way after a huge tackle for loss. Then the Bearcats bailed him out with a defensive pass interference and early marched down the field and got it in the end zone. So Bearcat defense is going to have to try to play some complimentary football here and help out the offense who's trying to scratch and claw and get back in this one.
Absolutely. We need to stop here. Turnover would be nice.
They're going to hand it to Trey Beam to the left side of the offense. Ish Harris is going to wrap him up, sling him around. And while he's holding him up, making sure he doesn't gain any extra yardage, Eddie Gatan gets there and tries to take the ball out. But Trey Beam finally works his way to the ground. And it's going to be about 1 yard on the carry, setting up a 2nd and 9 from the 35-yard line of the early Longhorns. And that's going to do it for us here in the third quarter. Get a couple commercials, and we're going to come back and try to bring you a great comeback in the fourth quarter.
Sunset Pools of North Texas helps people build custom pools for their perfect backyards. Even if the perfect backyard includes an outdoor kitchen, fire pit, or more, Sunset Pools of North Texas does it all. Shane Blagg, the owner, is a proud Bearcat alum who has built pools in the Pilot Point area for over a decade now. Good luck to the Bearcats this season from Sunset Pools of North Texas, where your backyard dreams become a reality. You can visit Sunset Pools at sunsetpoolsntx.com. That's sunsetpoolsntx.com.
In 2014, Uppercut Granite was founded with the mission to provide the highest quality fabrication and installation services to home builders, homeowners, and commercial contractors in the DFW and southern Oklahoma areas. With more than 50 years of combined experience in the countertop fabrication industry, the partners of Uppercut Granite possess the skills and expertise necessary to complete even the most difficult projects. Visit Uppercut Granite showroom at 1235 JC Lane in Pilot Point, Texas, or call 940-765-3525 to schedule an appointment. Go Bearcats!
So getting ready here for this early Longhorn drive, 2nd and 9 here. You know, the Bearcats have an opportunity to complete an excellent comeback, but it's going to take some grit here in this fourth quarter. Brought to you by the Peacock family. Roll out right for the Longhorns, looking to pass, pressure in the quarterback.
Pressure.
He steps out of one. He's going to just sling it. Oh, man, I thought he was throwing it away. And he makes throws a bullet to number 1, Kai Houston, for a completion. So it's going to be short yardage here. Not enough for a first down, so it's going to be short yardage here. 3rd and about 2. I thought he was throwing it away, and he completes it. Wow. Hard count, can't get the Bearcats to jump. Clock stopped because they did get out of bounds. But I think Early would take that, all the yardage.
You would think they got to go to Trey Beam here, right?
Trips left, 1 receiver right. Bearcats have been winning the line of scrimmage lately, so I don't know. 2, 1 on the play clock, 0. They have to see the play clock. Uppercut Granite timeout there for the early Longhorns. Man, Coach David, I look at the sideline. He reached over and poked the line judge and pointed at the play clock. That was funny. Man, oh man. Well, this is going to set up a 3rd and short. I don't want to go to commercial because I don't want to miss the 3rd down play. So we're going to be here, and this yardage down in distance. Bearcats, think ahead a little. The Bearcats can get a no gain or a 1-yard loss. It's still 4th and short if the Bearcats can do it. Sets up a decision to make for early. The Bearcats got some momentum. They're not. We've talked about it. They're not necessarily explosive. I'm not worried about them going down. As long as I blanket Hayden Cox, I'm not worried about them going all the way down the field in 1 or 2 plays. Do you say, hey, I have a good chance to go for it and keep the ball, or do you say, hey, I'm going to trust my defense?
I think they'd have to punt it away, but I got to watch. I tell my defensive line here to watch the hard count here.
Absolutely.
And then probably watch them trying to sneak out number 3, Trey Beam, out here in the flat or something on a quick pass.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see them have to think about this 4th down decision. So 2 receivers right, 2 left, an even formation. Trey Beam next to Jackson Price in the backfield. They're going to move Trey Beam from the right to the left. Snap, they're going to roll out that way. Aaron Stripmatter, immediate pressure. Slings it up in the air. Dakota David, who was being blocked by a lineman. That might be an ineligible man down the field.
Could have been.
Dakota David was the closest one there that could catch the ball. Woo!
Man, if Dakota would have secured that, he had green pastures in front of him.
He had one lineman to beat unless I know Dakota David's not known for world-class speed, but it would have taken a real heck of an effort for somebody to get out there and catch him. But we asked what the early Longhorns to do on 4th down. They're at least lining up to punt, but that doesn't mean they're going to punt. Bearcats have had fakes ran on them. This is going to be an early punt, and it's a good one. All the ones have been bad so far. Aiden Cox thought about it. You can see he thought about it, but early's going to let it roll, and they're going to get it down to the Bearcat 6 before they down it. We'll get one commercial and come back for this big Bearcat drive.
This is Shannon Stafford with Whitney Delcourt of IRIC Real Estate. Whitney Delcourt is my real estate professional for all my commercial land and real estate needs. Whitney always demonstrates the highest ethical, moral, and professional integrity. Whitney's impressive market knowledge, her hard-working, customer-focused style, and Whitney's professional service makes Whitney Delcourt the best choice to be your real estate professional.
And we're back here 1st and 10 from their own 6. So force a stop. Down 2 scores here. Wyatt Smith takes a snap. Quick. Almost
playing with
disaster.
fire there. Playing with fire going on number 4 side.
Woo! Those things about those timing routes. If you're both not on the same page, something bad can happen. And they were not on the same page, and we definitely dodged a bullet because
John Stewart Gordon almost had his second pick 6 of the night.
If he would have caught that, he could have turned around and moonwalked into the end zone from the 10-yard line.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. Dodged the bullet there. 2nd and 10. Trips bunch formation left. Cade Carter tight end right. Gage Anderson next to Wyatt Smith. Wyatt Smith drop back to pass. He's throwing it deep down the seam in quadruple coverage.
Oh, man.
And Aiden Cox still.
I thought
4 defenders there, and Aiden Cox is still the only one to get his hands on the ball. But he couldn't bring it down. That's what I wanted on that 3rd and 18 earlier.
That's what I expected. Yeah.
Man, I'm watching the replay on the stadium here. Literally, Vic Cooper, the safety, is just barely able to get a hand in there and knock it away.
Pawed it out.
Or Aiden Cox catches that quadruple coverage. Excellent throw.
Yeah.
Because like
I think Aiden was disappointed in himself, but man, get 4 guys on you. It's a tough one.
Snap, roll out left, looking to pass. Wyatt Smith throws it, hits Cade Carter in the flat, and that's going to be enough for a first down.
Nice.
Ducks his shoulder, runs over the first would-be tackler.
Cade Carter's
gets it out to
huge.
the 22-yard line. Coming on late in his senior year, trying to keep this season alive. It's IRIC Real Estate 1st down. The chains are moving. Bearcats have the ball at their own 22-yard line.
Again, with Aiden getting so much attention, it does open it up for Cade Carter, Crew Chandler, these guys to make some plays.
Yeah, so 2 receivers split way out right. Cade Carter tight end right. Aiden Cox on the bottom of the formation here. And Gage Anderson's going to get the carry.
Okay, Gage,
cut it up. Gage has some space. Starter steps out to the right. Cross the 40.
Turn it on, Gage.
Spins back underneath another guy. Gets tackled at midfield. That's from the 22 to the 50. That's a 27-yard run there. 28-yard run there. Man, Bearcat Nutrition did a big play there.
Yeah, Gage looked lively on that one.
Yeah, from the 22 to the 50, 28
I didn't want him to
yards.
cut back in on that very last cut. He had big 88 stock in him. I wanted him to hit for that sideline.
So 1st and 10 here for the Bearcats, getting lined up, splitting. God, I love watching these 2 defenders go with Aiden.
I'm still
everywhere.
scared.
Drop straight back. Wyatt Smith's going to hit Cade Carter on the cross. Oh, no!
Tried to run without before he secured the catch.
Yep, used his hands, caught it, was bringing it into his body, trying to turn his head up as he's bringing it in and couldn't bring it in and secure it to the body.
Had some running room because Aiden ran a deep post there and kind of ran them all off. He's getting so much attention.
Well, yeah, I mean, so now we're seeing something. I don't know how early can adjust. If you want to run 2 guys with Aiden and he runs a deep post like that and you have a crosser come across there, how do you do anything, You have to pick one or the other. And so Trips left late to roll, but they're going to be running Gage Anderson up the middle, and he's going to stumble across for about 5 yards there. Early starting to get a little confused with how they want to line up here, and I think it's because they're trying to do some coaching on the fly. They wanted to double Aiden, and there were 3 receivers out on that side, and they only had 3 defenders. Rolled the 4th one really late, but it was a run play, so they might have dodged a bullet there. 3rd and 5, line to gain to be the Longhorn 40-yard line. Trips left. Cade Carter tight end right. Drop back to pass. Wyatt Smith steps up, and that blitz has been getting us all night. 6-yard loss on the play. Going to set up 4th and 11. That blitz from depth, playing guard, I never necessarily had to worry about blitz from depth, so I couldn't really tell you what the fix on that is. I think the running back who's staying in pass protection has to see it.
Yeah.
But it's coming late from depth.
Yeah, and from a super athletic kid there, Trey Beams.
So and they're doing it every time that Trey Beams on the receivers on the side with no receivers.
Sure.
Low snap, Wyatt Smith steps. Oh, man, the snaps. Every play starts with the snap. Wyatt Smith had to field the low snap, fumbled around with it, and he didn't know this. He can't know this. He had time to pick it up and look up to try to throw the ball, but by the time he got his hands on it, he didn't feel like he had the time.
Yeah, I think that was the adjustment. We thought that Trey Beam was going to come off that edge again, and we had Gage out there running a quick little
swing
route, and we.
So from here, from here you can see he had time, but why the clock moves so fast while he's trying to pick the ball up off the ground. He just had no idea that he had so much time.
Try to collect it.
Yeah, Longhorns get the ball. The Bearcat 49. Trey Beam's first carry is going to go for 2 yards. The drop by Cade Carter and the low snap on the end of that drive was a heartbreaker.
It's kind of been the MO of the night.
Yeah, a few untimely drops by a few different guys, a few low snaps and bad timing, a few penalties, and
it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
You just clean up those few things.
It's been a long time since we've had one of these games too. It hurts that tonight's the night, Hopefully sometimes you have these games in a night and you're still able to overcome it, and Bearcats gonna have to make something big happen on defense if that's what they want to do. Snap, drop back to pass, pressured, steps up,
there you go,
sacked. Well, it's back to the original line of scrimmage, so I don't know if that would be ruled as a 0-yard run or a sack, because it was not a loss of yardage, but it was not a gain of yardage either.
No, and for as athletic as Jackson Price is, he just doesn't have any rushing yards really on the season. He doesn't prefer to run it.
I'm sure they would take that over an incomplete pass because the clock is running. They are bringing the clock all the way down inside 5 seconds when they snap the ball. Snap, drop back to pass. Oh, throwing it up. No, not on the same page. Number 1, Kai Houston was running a stop. The pressure made Jackson Price just throw it up. Incomplete. Bearcats force a punt here. 8 minutes left. They got to have some urgency on offense here. We got to try to maybe get a punt return.
Yeah, I'd like to see Aiden return one here.
But what seems to be happening is when they play the return man deep, they punt it really short and get a good bounce.
Yeah,
it's hard for the punt team to field it. Last time they punted, they played shallow, and the guy punted it over their heads.
They certainly game planned around getting it away from Aiden.
This is one of those low ones. Aiden Cox didn't see where the rush was coming from. Fair caught it. We're going to get a commercial and come back for the Bearcat drive.
10 years ago, a Cowgirls Kennel opened with a unique approach to dog boarding. At a Cowgirls Kennel, your dog will stay in a 12 by 12 area. Let me say that again. Your dog will stay in a 12-foot by 12-foot area. That's larger than most guest bedrooms. If you have more than one dog, they can stay together. Their professional staff will give you the peace of mind so you can enjoy your trip. A Cowgirls Kennel is not just for dogs. They can accommodate your cat in their brand new catchawary. Make your reservations today at 940-600-2853. Your dogs will thank you for it.
First play for the Bearcats, Wyatt Smith rolls out left. He doesn't see anybody open. Has to throw it away, and the unfortunate part is as he's throwing it away, Aiden Cox is breaking open on a deep comeback, but the ball was already being thrown away. So, I know that as a receiver, a lot of times all you see is the end result, I'm open.
Right.
You don't see that, by the time you actually broke open, the ball was already in process of being thrown.
When you have Aiden Cox out there, you can just kind of throw it up for him instead of throwing it away.
Yeah, well, they are not. Yeah, they are. Okay, well, there's 3 receivers over here. There's only 3 defenders, but they look like they're double covering Aiden. And he runs a slant, can't bring it down off the hands, and then he's slung down by Villarreal. And I think he's taking a little bit to get up, and I don't think it's because he's hurt. I think it's because he's disappointed he didn't bring in that slant.
Yeah, the ball was thrown a little bit behind him. His back shoulder.
I'd like to look at this.
Catch.
The Bearcats offense runs 3 receivers out here. They're blanketing Aiden Cox. They have a man on him and a man 10 yards off him, both designated for him. But they only ever have one other person out here, even if we have 3 receivers. So it's interesting to see.
Still got the numbers. We got it here on this side.
Yep. Snap. Wyatt Smith drops back to pass, has some time, throws it out Cade Carter. And even if he does catch it, it's going to be maybe 1 yard. He's able to fight with the defender and bring it in for about a half yard, setting up a 4th and 9.
Would have been better just to have it incomplete or go out of bounds on that.
Okay, well, 7:30 and counting left in the game, down 15 points. 4th and 9, setting up a punt.
That was certainly not the drive we needed. We needed 80 yards and we got 1.
And the punt is off, and it's a high spiral, and it's going to bounce and take a Bearcat bounce, and then fielded by Gordon. And he took a risk by. At this point, as long as you don't do anything mistake-wise for early, you're going to get the win.
Yeah, that was gutsy
and
fielding
that.
that.
Real risky for him to take that ball off the bounce, but ultimately it worked out.
Crew Chandler was right there to make the tackle.
Yep. So Bearcat defense forced into another situation where they need to stop here.
Are these guys the same? What color was Godley when y'all played them here?
White and yellow, white and gold. They had some purple.
Did they have some purple? I thought it was the same color scheme.
No. Well, they didn't accentuate the purple like Early does. They were mostly gold and white. That day they wore white jerseys, yellow helmets, yellow pants.
I'm just trying to call on the ghost of Godley past.
Yep. Trey Beam spins out of a couple tackles that would have been tackled for a loss and ultimately gets 6 on the play.
Yeah, you would expect them to ground and pound now, so we've got to try to force a fumble. Make sure we secure the tackles. Don't let them move the chains.
And there's no hurry coming from this early offense, as there shouldn't be. 6:34 and counting in the 4th quarter, brought to you by the Peacock family. Ball's first down line to game for the first down is the midfield, the 50-yard line. 7 seconds on the play clock. I don't think. Let me tight getting this one off.
That's what I thought.
They do snap it with 1. Trey Beam gets the handoff.
Wrap him up.
He's a tough kid to tackle, and they do tackle him, but he's going to get down to about the 49-yard line of the Longhorns, setting up a 3rd and 1. Big Gavin Wheeler coming in, spelling Ryan Riney on this 3rd down play.
Yeah, we're going to need Gavin to get some pressure here.
Yeah, don't fall for the hard count. Don't fall for the hard count.
Yeah, you expect them to do it, and then it's going to be the same play to Trey Price, or Trey Beam, sorry. Number 3.
Now would be the key time for Jackson Price to pull it and sneak out the backside. All you need is 1.
Yeah, he hardly ever runs the ball, Ryan. I don't think there's any chance of that. Let's sell out on number 3.
Snap, handoff to number 3, and
it is.
Big tackle for loss. Nowhere to go.
Out here.
Hey.
What do you think?
No, I mean you need 2 scores on offense. So you're basically, when you punted on the last drive, what you said was we're going to have to do a 3 and out, and we're okay with scoring and basically being in an onside kick situation. That's what you did. Is you basically said that they're going to go for it on 4th and short here, trying to get the Bearcats to jump. And
ready.
I don't think they jump for it, but he's going to roll out. Jackson Price gets the first down. We're over here taking a punt for granted, and maybe the Bearcats did too. Look, Crew Chandler, it was way down here on the 20. The Bearcats thought they were punting too.
Yep.
I don't know what happened. They weren't in punt formation.
Nope.
So why Crew Chandler was, back at the 20-yard line? Why, Jackson, I don't know if Early even had a play call. I think they tried to get him to jump hard count.
Well, he looked like he was going to try to throw the fade on the far side, and he said, hey, I've got room to run here. I'll just take it myself.
No, but what I'm saying is I think that was one of those hard count snap if they jump.
Right.
The center snapped it when he should have, because that receiver didn't actually run a route. Nobody did anything. Jackson Price has the ball in his hands and just decides, I got to do something with it, and is able to get the edge on the first down.
Yep.
So much confusion. So Early takes the timeout. 4:43 left. Oh, that was a backbreaker. Just because, like I said, we're over here talking about when you decided to punt, you were punting with the idea, I'm going to get a 3 and out, and we thought you did.
Had it.
Unbelievable. These games happen through the course of a season. Last year I think we had a 2-game stretch like this where nothing seemed to go right. It wasn't our week, and we won one of them against Ponder.
Right.
And then last year when we had Whitesboro at home, this was the type of game we saw. It was just nothing seemed to go right. Nothing went our way. We just weren't sharp. So you go through district and you play 6 great games. You play Brock competitively. Then you come out and you have that game tonight, and it's like that's can't afford to have it this time of season. It's the type of game that can end it.
I was wondering how Early was going to react because they were in a real emotional game against Wall last week and pulled off an upset. A lot of times maybe you have a downer after that. So I thought maybe they wouldn't come out as fired up, but man, was I wrong.
Well, they came out firing on all cylinders tonight, and since then they've been outscored 21-7. But they had such a huge lead early. It didn't matter.
The edge.
Trey Beam's going to get the edge, and he's not going to go for the end zone or anything, but he's going to get it out across the 40. It's going to get about 8 yards there on that first down, but he does get out of bounds.
Did us a favor there, getting out of bounds.
Yeah, because we only do have 2 timeouts. So, earlier you asked me what use of time. I said no, because you kind of accepted a situation. Going to get a 3 and out, going to score, going to have an onside kick situation. I'm going to need those timeouts late.
Yeah, but
when you don't get the 3 and out, now you start having to think, okay, I do need as much time as possible. So it looks like some sort of pre-snap motion on the early Longhorn. It's going to back them up 5. Early Longhorn goes down on that play. That was the center there. So, hey,
maybe get a bad snap.
Yeah, we're reaching, man. We're reaching.
We need something.
We're reaching, but that's kind of, we're at the point in this game where it's getting tougher and tougher to see an end that falls in our favor. And this kind of, you start grasping for anything. New center in, first play, big Gavin Wheeler lined up right over top of him.
Make him pay for it.
Let's do it. If I'm Gavin Wheeler, I'm talking to him. I'm just trying to do anything I can to just intimidate him before he has to make the snap. Snap is good. Handoff Trey Beam. Breaks a tackle. Ish Harris can't bring him down either, and Trey Beam's going to 30, 20, 10. Can we cut him off? No, we can't. Touchdown Trey Beam. And that one might be the nail.
Yeah. I talked about it in the pregame show, 21 and 3. 21's our guy and 3's their guy. Man, he's had number 3 for them. Trey Beam has had a heck of a night defensively as well. Bringing that pressure from that outside linebacker spot.
Yeah. So all statisticians watching from home, so he's on a bit of a delay. For that carry, 19 carries for 134. You add that carry, it's going to be over 160 and a touchdown. Next time PAT is up and good. 4:24 left in the fourth quarter, brought to you by the Peacock family. Early Longhorns 42, Pilot Point 21.
Advanced Care Veterinary Hospital, Pilot Point, has been caring for animals around the Pilot Point area for the past 30 years. Large and small pets can expect a quality experience unmatched by other clinics. Advanced Care Veterinary Hospital of Pilot Point offers all the services you'd expect from your veterinarian. They provide preventative care, which includes vaccinations, flea, tick, and heartworm prevention. They also provide sick animal care, surgical, and dental needs with their full-service lineup. Good luck to the Bearcats this season from Advanced Care Veterinary Hospital of Pilot Point, where pets are family.
Hi, I'm Jackie Collins, and I am a wellness coach and owner of the Bearcat Nutrition Den. Do you want more energy to feel great, lose weight, and improve health? If your answer is yes, then get in touch today. Get your day started with the delicious healthy meal replacement shake and energizing tea. Come and see me today at the Nutrition Den at 432 South Highway 377, Pilot Point, Texas. I'm Jackie Collins, and I look forward to seeing you guys.
We're back here getting ready for the Southern Junkies kickoff. Bearcats have a tall task in front of them. 4:24 down. The score is 43-21, not 42-21. A short kick is going to be caught at the 20 by Colin Lynch, and he's going to return this one. 25, trying to get the sideline. Picks up a block, but is brought down at the 30-yard line. Good coverage. The man who brought him down was number 23. Sebastian Constancia, and he actually was the one being blocked there on the side, ate through the block and was able to take Colin Lynch's feet out from under him. Bearcats 1st and 10 from their own 30. So, John, I mean, this game is, we're at the point where, you know, I'm not trying to remove hope or anything, but it's not looking good. I played in a game just like this, and I know you did as well, where it gets to the point in your final playoff game where you look at the time and you look at the score and you say, it may not be the night, you know, It may be the end here. What was the huddle like for you when that happened?
Oh, man, it was just devastating.
Yeah, Wyatt Smith takes the snap, immediately pressured, nowhere to go with it, sails it away, incomplete, past line of scrimmage. I guess they're going to say there was a receiver in the area.
You never want to say never, but as a senior, you're looking at that clock and that scoreboard, and things are looking pretty desperate at this point.
Yeah, I remember in 2008 against Muleshoe, it was kind of around this time. It was 35-18 or something. It was less time than this, maybe 2 minutes to go. Looked at each other before we took the field and said, this is it. Let's go out just swinging and fighting and
show some pride.
Let's see that from the Bearcats here. And, crazier things have happened, right? But it's not going our way there. The second down play turns into a 5-yard sack. And like I said, we said, if we're going to go down, let's go down fighting and swinging. And that's told the story last year when I did the whole podcast with Bearcat Insider about the Bearcat life or whatever. In 2008 against Muleshoe, Cooper Guthrie had tore his ACL earlier in the playoffs against Gunner.
Yeah.
And so, we have a down player for early here. He tried to get off the field, and I think he realized he wasn't going to be able to get off in time and went down. Hopefully it's just a cramp of some sort. But Cooper tore his ACL against Gunner in the playoffs, and so he didn't dress out for the next week against Winsboro, and we won, and he showed up to Muleshoe, obviously not dressed out. And it was a close game at halftime. He put his pads on and let us out for the second half. And, it was obvious. It's more symbolic than anything. So, what we were thinking. And like I said, about the 2 minute mark, minute and a half mark, it's 35-18. We have the ball. It's we see the writing on the wall. Here comes Cooper hobbling off the sideline into the huddle and looks at us up front and tells us, I can't go right, I can't go left. I'm just going straight up the middle, so take care of me. And the last 3 or 4 plays was a hurry up. And we just ran our inside zone play 3-4 times in a row and hurry up. And, he just carried every one of those runs right up the middle as tough as he could. We had a fullback, Cooper. I think Carl Anderson was in playing fullback.
Yeah, that's pretty
senior
cool.
as well. And just tried to road grade, got about 24, 25 yards there at the end of the game for him. And, just like I said, going out, knowing the game was over, but still trying to hold on to that pride and really just fight and scratch there for everything we can get at the end. That's
a cool moment.
Yeah, crazy moment. Actually, I hadn't seen him. I saw him last week as I was leaving the game. He was leaving the game as well. Saw him and I think his wife. 3rd and long here for the Bearcats. Trips left, 2 receivers right, 5 wide here. No running back next to Wyatt Smith. Dropping back to pass. Ish Harris is going to catch it, and it's going to try to get the 40 for a first down. And just trying to find more room. Ultimately doesn't help himself out, and he is a few yards shy of the first down. But we're going to go from 3rd and 15 to about 4th and 3. It's one of those scenarios, just trying to make something huge happen and cost himself a few yards, which might be the difference between first down and 4th down,
Yeah, you never know. But it's 4th and manageable. We absolutely have to have it. Keep any hope alive.
2 receivers left, 2 right. Wyatt Smith with Gage Anderson next to him. Snap is low, but he's fielded. And he's throwing not on the same page, incomplete. And that is going to be the end of the drive. Early's going to get the ball, 2:53 left in Bearcat territory. And, with a couple first downs, they don't have to give the ball back.
Yeah. It's probably going to do it. And that was kind of the story of our night. Looked like Ish and Wyatt just weren't on the same page, right?
That's right.
Just how things have gone. It's been a sloppy game really from the beginning. Just out of sync.
So the early Longhorns look like they're going to be playing Shallow Water next week in the second round of the playoffs. Riney Construction stat sheet check as of now. Trey Beam, the leading yardage getter for the Longhorns, 21 carries, 184 yards, and a touchdown. Jackson, okay, Early's going for end zone here, and it's incomplete. And Some games you lose, and you want to lose with sportsmanship, right? If I'm one of these seniors out here, and this game is a 22-point game with 2:40 left,
I'm not letting
and
up on the
you're
quarterback.
throwing go routes on my freshman corner,
Yeah.
you're sending me a signal.
It's open season.
Oh, man.
If Gavin gets a shot, he better
go route.
Make a tackle.
Unreal. Okay, Tripp's right. They're going to hand it to Trey Beam here, who, you have your chance to take a shot, but if you can't tackle him, you can't tackle him. He's going to get down to the 21-yard line. See, if they get the ball in the end zone here, well, one, they still have their starters in and all that, but hey, they get the ball in the end zone here on the ground. They get the ball here in the end zone on the ground. You should have stopped him. Yeah. But when you're throwing go routes on a freshman corner, who held his own? It was incomplete.
Up 22 with 3 minutes left.
I
don't know about that call. Let's hope that the quarterback just made an audible himself, took that in his own hands.
2 receivers left, 2 right, under 10 left on the play clock. Snap, and Price is going to try to, avoid Cale Martin, but he can't. Cale Martin gets a tackle for loss.
That's why you probably should take a knee instead of getting a hurt knee.
Yeah. Oh, man. So Aiden Cox ends a prolific senior year, 6 catches, 171 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Before the Brock game, he had 1307. I know he had about 40 in the Brock game, which puts him probably at the 1350 mark.
Yeah.
Adding another 171 tonight. So
incredible season.
Yeah, over the approaching 1,600 yards receiving in 11 games.
It's been fun to watch him this year.
Unbelievable. Another spin by Trey Beam before he's tackled after about 5 yards. Ish Harris comes up and makes the tackle. 342 yards of offense for the Bearcats. And Early has the ball now, not counting the last play, 341 yards for them, so they're going to edge us in yardage a little. But
yeah, we should probably shout out all the seniors, Ryan.
So we got Aiden Cox playing a heck of a final game tonight. Cade Carter really came on, huge game tonight. Trey Beam gets his carry. Cade Carter's drugged down by the offensive lineman by the horse collar. I don't know how else he would have fallen down on his back, but no call there. Dakota David, senior. Stephen Rodas, senior. Jacob Gleiser, senior. Ish Harris, senior. Curly Brockman, senior. Leighton Rushing, senior. Trevor Martin, senior. Diego Aleo, senior. Alfonso Ortiz, senior. Eddie Gatan, senior. Caden York, senior. Aaron Stripmatter, senior. PJ Scruggs, Dak Morgan, Andy Mendoza, Big Gavin Wheeler, Juan Juarez, seniors. You had an excellent year. I know it's not ending how you want, but you had a lot of great moments this year. A lot of these kids on teams the last 2 years made deep playoff runs. But the 2021 season ends here tonight. 8 seconds left on the clock. The play clock went to 0. I think the last uppercut granted time Early takes an uppercut granted timeout. Come out on this next 4th down play. I'm sure they'll just run the ball, take a knee, something. But that is going to do it from here. The unexpected Pilot Point show small favorites in this, and you take that first quarter can really bury you. You can't. I've never known a situation where you can spot a team 29 points and then in 3 quarters say, hey, we'll start from here.
No, we had our chances, but we just couldn't capitalize. Couldn't get in the end zone there and finish in the second quarter, and then it could have been a completely different game if we would have punched a couple of those in the second quarter.
Yep, so I know Bearcat Insider will probably do a post-game to this. I know you and I plan on doing a season recap type show this coming week. We're going to have Chance Kirby on, talk about the broadcast, what our plans are, what the off-season plans are, because it's off-season for football, but we're still other sports that they get out and live stream, talk about what some of the plans for that is, and maybe some of the things you might be able to expect coming from us next football season. And so we're going to be doing that this week. Trey Beam's going to get another carry on the left side, and he's going to get maybe just enough for a first down, but either way, clock will run here in a minute. 3 seconds left on the clock, so this one's going to be final here. 43-21 Early Longhorns. Thank you guys for riding with us tonight. I know it was a little different not getting to watch the game, but that's UIL rules. That's not a lack of want to by us. Want to re-mention what I mentioned earlier in the game. Coach David was nominated for the Tom Landry Coach of the Year award by the Landry Foundation through Fellowship of Christian Athletes. That's just a super cool thing for him. So follow the social media, follow the Twitters, the YouTubes, the Facebooks, all of that for the, game day photo albums and all sorts of information. Like I said, we're going to do a season recap and where we also meet with Chance Kirby, talk about what to expect during basketball season, in baseball season and track season, all those things, see what we can be doing for you guys. I'm going to read my sign-off. Thanks to everybody for listening to us tonight. Thanks to Pilot Point ISD, PilotPointBearcats.com, Early ISD, Saginaw ISD, Chance Kirby, Travis Marsh, statistician Chris Nortman, sound engineer Roger Marsh, our production assistants, title sponsor Speedlight Broadband, and all the rest of our sponsors. From Ryan Menard and John Little, it was great to bring you all the Bearcats 2021 season, and we'll be back with you guys, opening Friday night next year.
Yep, go Bearcats.
Go Bearcats.
You've been watching Bearcat Football live on the Pilot Point Bearcat YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel, and you can watch the Bearcats every time we're in action. And follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and keep up with all the ins and outs of Bearcat and Lady Cat athletics at PilotPointBearcats.com. Here you'll find the Bearcat Insider and all the pregame and postgame shows throughout the year. For Ryan Menard and John Little, we do thank you for watching. This has been a Chance Kirby, Roger Marsh production. And until next week, go Bearcats!